Excellent. All right, citizens of the Reject Nation, you know what to do. Let us know if we are live. It is not a live stream.
We saw it already. They know what to do to such a level. We didn't even have to say it.
Y'all are on top of it.
Appreciate you. Also, you know what else to do? Hit that like. Hit that comment bar with whatever words you want coming out of you. Hit that share. Send it to your friends, your family, your loved ones, that neighbor you don't know if you like or not. And you're like, maybe we'll bond over this DCAMU ranking video, an obscure video that might bring us together closer than ever.
Oh, we're going to bond today. Don't worry, guys.
Happening.
It is all about the love. We are a team. We are a league. We are here for justice. Coy, thank you for enduring and for championing this live stream. Thank you guys for joining. We will be answering super chats. It's going to be a little bit chaotic today because we are going to go through. We're going to rank. We're going to give a couple quick thoughts reviewing each movie. But we also want to get to your super chats. You guys drive the conversation, so send us your thoughts on these films or just about anything you want. We're going to go through a few movies at a time, check in with you guys, then jump back so hopefully everybody feels like they are involved. So yeah, you can hit up the super chat. There's also a link to Streamlabs if you would like to chip in a way that YouTube doesn't take quite as much. That's also very much appreciated. And just before we hop in properly, I do want to say a really huge and sincere thank you to Greg, who I know is just can't wait to watch more of John and Coy on screen.
2 hours of us.
He's just tuning in right now.
He's thrilled.
But seriously, like when, again, Greg pitched this idea, or came up with this idea and was like, I think I'm going to pair you and Coy together to do these DC films. Like, I was so excited at the outset, but this journey thus far and getting to look forward to this every week has become one of my absolute favorite things to do here. And it's been so much fun, journeying through these movies and seeing what, the full potential of a shared universe like this can look like. So just props to Greg. If you're, on his social media, go give him a like or some love because
he's how this is happening.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. And yeah, I'm ever grateful for especially this little series that we do.
Totally agree. I want to dive into it as well, but I do want to say that this has helped me not only get to know John better and our eclectic musical taste and all of our synchronicities. The word will come to me. But we've gotten to know each other better, and it's helped me love animation better, and it's helped me love these characters already loved better. So this whole thing has been delightful, so I'm really excited to share that ranking with you lovelies. So expect, for watch back later, we're going to do a few. Go to Super Chat, do a few, go to Super Chat. So we're going to count down because that's the way you do an exciting ranking video, by starting at the bottom and getting into it. So if you want a question guaranteed answered, get in there, and we will attack all those Super Chats and Streamlabs as we go. Should we start with number 16?
Oh, let's do it. Quick shouts out. TJ Selwyn in the chat. Yeah. Ashish Mindirata. Gamer MJ. Bruno Stalino 17. Sarah Williamson. Ooh, quickest twig?
Twigless twig. I like a twigless twig.
Twigless twig. Twigless twig Jackson right here. Ragu always holding it down. Hugo. Scott Reyes. Lori Esquire in the chat. Love to see all your shining faces. And the heart. Ooh, they added like a heart thingy.
That's nice.
Fun.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, yes. Let's get this road on the show. Before we hop into some super chats, let's start at the bottom. And now we're here. So, Coy, I'm going to put a few seconds on the clock.
Okay.
What is your number 16?
Now, I've got a Letterboxd account where I've ranked these. Do not think I'm just texting. I'm using my phone for the powers of good, not distraction.
Sure.
All right. My number 16 of all is Justice League War.
Hey, we're starting out on a like foot.
Okay.
Justice League War is this is already efficient. Justice League War is my 16.
This will save us some time. So let's just live on this one. Justice League War for me was a little bit messy. It was a little bit contrived. It felt trite. For me, it didn't understand the characters as I know them. Now, these are characters that mean a lot to me. These are characters that are thrown into this Elseworld. But even within this Elseworld, it didn't even feel like they were authentic to the version of themselves that they set them out to be. Like, some of their choices felt like they weren't quite organic. I did enjoy how much they were able to put in this film, but the characterization threw me from being like, wow, that writing's really impressive, how much they're able to do, but then when the characters didn't feel like who they were supposed to be, and some of the characters they omitted that would have worked better, there was enough messiness. It's the bottom.
Absolutely. See, this is going to be great because you're already used to like cramming a lot of thoughts into a small, needle of the eye of the needle, and I'm going to be trying to channel my koi today.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Justice League War was fun, but it's like the most sort of slight of all of them to me in terms of like character, anything. And yeah, it's like you've got this kind of odd take on Superman and Wonder Woman where they're both a little more sort of feisty than I'm used to. And yeah, it's a fun movie. But it's easily the most like, this is about what I expect. It's them, doing a rock'em sock'em kind of thing, and it's fun. But there are so many other better examples of really conscientious crossovers, handling a bunch of characters with aplomb and all that stuff. So yeah, there are. I clearly liked every Justice League title better than this one.
Something had to be the bottom.
And to be clear, this is the one that's meh. Like I kind of tried to also gauge them by like meh, pretty good, great. I love this.
Right.
And so this is probably the only one I'd say that is like truly like meh.
I've got like one that one is the only one I wouldn't recommend to people. The rest I would actively recommend. This is the other one that's like iffy. My number 15 is Teen Titans: The Judas Contract.
That is also my number 15.
Look at us being efficient.
Guys,
crushing it.
Killing the game.
All right, my number 15 is Judas Contract because I did enjoy the Teen Titans so much more in other capacities and other mediums and other ways, and I did feel like of the villains, this was the weakest. It felt a bit mustache twirly. It felt like it definitely... Yeah, Blood was just like, all right, well, I guess he's a bad guy because he's a bad guy. Like, he just did bad guy stuff. Like, I didn't believe his motivations. I didn't quite justify any of his means, and the Teen Titans felt underserved. Like, they didn't feel like they got to do any of the cool Titans-ness. So for me, it just didn't quite land, and I liked them too much to have them underserved.
Yeah, and guys, feel free as we are going through these, as we name each movie, perhaps, number out where it would rank for you. And thank you so much to everybody who's already jumped into the super chats. We see you, and we will be with you momentarily. So keep those thoughts and questions coming. But yeah, Judas Contract to me was a similar way. There's a lot of stuff I like about. There are a lot of elements that I like, and I like a lot of the guest voice cast and stuff. It's nice to have Christina Ricci. But yeah, it's just like all the elements are kind of, I don't know. There's something that didn't quite coalesce about them. I felt like the first Teen Titans movie in this continuity just did everything this one tried to do, but better.
Yeah.
And like having Tara
not get quite the amount of juice she deserved for the story. Like, I feel like Tara was definitely a character who has a beautiful arc, a beautiful story, and was played well, but they didn't really get to serve her character while also juggling the other disparate parts. And I do think that was largely in part of the villain feeling kind of one note, and none of the rest of the movies had a one-note villain to me.
Yeah, it's just like the villains feel underserved, and all the teen stuff. It's like, the Beast Boy relationship is like not really that endearing. It's like it's kind of pushy, and yeah. There's a lot of stuff that could have been better about this.
So yeah, that's my number 15. Kicking it over to number 14, we've got, for me, Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay.
Okay.
Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay sounds like our first difference of opinion. It is just not, to me, as good as the other Suicide Squad. Sorry about my voice squeak there. I'm losing it. My Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay experience was good, but I definitely enjoyed the other Suicide Squad movie so much more that it showed me like what the Suicide Squad can be. I didn't feel like I was as invested in these characters enough that when they bid it, I was like, yo, I'm struck. It felt like they were very color by numbers, like, well, this character has to go, this character has to live, this character is going to make it, this character isn't. It never pulled me into the world as completely as it needed to. It was cool to see Bronze Tiger. It was cool to see, Christian Slater play Deadshot and a few of these characters that made it higher than the other two, but this is still one that, like, if someone's like, oh, would you recommend the Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay? I'd say, like, if you like Suicide, or if you like there'd be a caveat in my recommendation, so it puts it pretty lower.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a little higher for me, but there you go.
All right, I'm right.
Okay, so what are we on, 14?
That was 14.
That was number 14? Okay, so number 14 for me was actually Justice League Throne of Atlantis, which I enjoyed. I reviewed all these throughout the week moving into this, and Justice League Throne of Atlantis was one that I enjoyed again, and I thought, it was pretty good. It conscientiously, I thought, mixed an Aquaman story with a Justice League story. But I feel like the flavor of this movie, and it is called Justice League, but it sort of indicates that, like, Aquaman is like barely present throughout this entire thing,
Right.
and I feel like he's competing in his own movie for some kind of spotlight or to have that origin. And so, like there's so much that's really neat and interesting about Atlantis, and yet I feel like there are other movies that kind of took us on that kind of journey
Better.
a little bit better. Yeah. So while I really enjoyed, especially having like Batman and Superman, like kind of teaming up and investigating detective working together. There's just something about this one just there were again a lot of elements that were better served in other
I agree.
stories. Yeah,
I've got Throne of Atlantis a little higher, but I also agree with your qualms. And someone in the chat I saw say Suicide Squad felt unnecessarily edgy, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of the vibe I had. I don't use that word often, but this one did feel edgy to me. Let's do one more and then get to the super checks. I feel like it's 16, so it's perfect 4 rows of 4.
Yeah.
So my number 13. The final one before we get over the chats, for me was Batman Bad Blood.
Okay.
It is my lowest Batman because I did feel like it underserved Batman and Robin and Talia. And like Talia was like weirdly just kind of there. I didn't really feel invested in Heretic as much as I wanted to, even though I love Travis Willingham. I didn't really feel invested in the family elements as much as I wanted to, but it was still freaking cool. So it's higher than the other ones because it's still a Batman movie. It's still like got that awesome like gritty, gravelly nuance to it that Batman brings when done well. This is definitely like, now we've left the meh and we've gotten into good. And like, it's just the rest to me are good to great to exceptional. So this one is good, but I wouldn't rewatch it. I'm glad to have seen it. I really did enjoy the missing element of Batman and having Nightwing and Robin cover for him. That was a really cool element because I enjoy that storyline in the comic books. But to me, it just couldn't be higher because this is more a case of the other 12 are just better. This one's not bad. It's just the other 12 are better.
Absolutely, I would agree with that, and I ranked it the same spot as you.
This
wondering.
is fantastic.
Because there's so many of these too that I debated on, and I like flipped and flopped. But yeah, like this one, and I remember us talking about it on the actual video, feeling like an episode out of a TV show more than any of the other ones. And yeah, like I like Cassandra Cain, and having a broader Bat family, but like even those characters don't really ever come back until the end. So yeah, it's like there was a lot of fun about it, and I did like the whole like, oh, Bruce has been kidnapped and they're experimenting on him. But even that I thought could have been made into something greater. So it has a lot of the fun, but you want, I think, a certain amount of, I don't know, interesting heft out of it that I don't think you quite got necessarily.
I agree.
So.
That's definitely where I'm at with that.
So,
okay,
yeah.
so same page. All right,
Absolutely.
let's get to some super chats and
Let's
Streamlabs.
Let's hop in. Alrighty.
While he brings that up, I want to apologize for being late, you guys. This was entirely my fault. I had my wires crossed on timing, so I apologize.
Coy, you just live to destroy.
It's on me.
That's who you are,
That's why
sir.
it rhymes. It means it must be true.
Absolutely, man. Don't worry. But yeah, guys, leave your rankings as we go through these because we want to hear your thoughts as well. We want to hear what you because this has been a journey, and too, like seeing the comments throughout has been really fun because everybody has such a different flavor and a different take and a different sort of side of the universe that appeals to them. But yeah, let's hop into here with the first super chat of the day from Johnny. Hold on a sec.
Super chats, not vengeance.
That's right.
Ah, clever.
That's right. Question 1 from Johnny. Should DC and Image release low to mid-budget animated films theatrically? And question number 2, should we get a live ranking of Nolan next weekend?
Ooh.
Now that would be fun.
I love me some Nolan.
Sure.
But your boy's on strike, so I got to be careful with which things I can dive into and discuss. So this being an animated video and this being about films from before the strike, it was a different thing. I don't think I can talk about Oppenheimer or anything else for a while. But I do love Nolan, so maybe the other Nolan films, that'd be very frustrating. Be like, how does that one rank? I don't know yet.
All right. I mean,
That's where I'm at.
I would love to. That sounds really fun. I mean, we have, there's an array of things to figure out with all these strikes happening. But yeah, I mean, a Nolan ranking would be a blast.
Second favorite director working, man. I love Nolan.
Yeah, and that's one of the few directors I feel like I would be equipped to.
Right. I've seen everything he's done, and I actually have opinions.
Yeah, and there are enough of them, but not too many of them to where it's not super.
Yeah, Scorsese ranking is a bit prohibitive. And then the first question, DC and Image is okay. So a mid-budget. What's hard about animation is when it's cheap, it looks cheap, and mid-budget is a very tricky term because I feel like theatrically would just show any flaws bigger. So I would love that for the companies. I'd love that for the exposure. I'd love that for all those things. But I really think they need to put some money behind theatrically animated films like Mask of the Phantasm, like Teen Titans Go. They need to be quality. As much as I don't want these budgets to keep exploding, I think whatever that looks like, a $100 million Spider-Verse movie made a lot of profit versus a $300 million Indiana Jones movie. So I think that's a tricky situation. So we'll see. But at the same time, I do want more people to discover these characters. So as long as it can be done in a way that's quality, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is with animation, part of me is like, yeah, release the mid-budget stuff theatrically, and because I'm all for that, exhibition experience. But at the same time, I'm like, but animation I think needs to be supported and given its resources to truly shine and thrive. And so I feel like you might be setting a movie up to not shine as brightly if you're putting a mid-budget animation up on the big screen. But it depends on how good the animation is.
Yeah.
And how good the storytelling is, because you can get away with a lot, with good storytelling. I would certainly argue.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I would be curious. Certainly, I would be happy to see them embrace that more. Certainly, like I would have watched happily any of these films on a big screen.
Also, there's tons of Image comics that would not work as well live action.
Yes, yeah, of course. And oh my goodness, I would be very curious to hear a whole slate of what Image comics would work. But let's move on to real Eric.
Super chats, not vengeance.
That's right. Just got home from work and super tired. It's okay. We're here to put you to sleep.
Talk you
with
right
this
out.
ranking right
It's like
here.
a lullaby.
And I wanted to thank Koi for the tips on making and writing reviews. It's helped out a lot. Love you guys. Oh, what are your tips, Koi? Go.
My tips are to actually believe in what you're saying. You have to actually love this stuff, and don't just be negative for the sake of being negative. It's going to be more popular to be negative. It's going to be you're going to do better faster being negative, but it'll rot your soul. So if you think about stuff negatively all the time, it's like the yellow car thing, right? So if you buy a yellow car, suddenly you'll notice yellow cars. If you buy a Jeep Wrangler, suddenly you'll notice Jeep Wranglers. If you start making your life about negativity, I guarantee you your life gets more negative. So I don't know how critics do it. I know being a critic doesn't necessarily mean negative, but I know it does. It requires you to critique art in a way that would rob me personally of some love of art. So people that are hypercritical, people that aren't even critics, that are just critical of things, their lives must suck. So I think finding joy in all things, I think looking to what you're passionate about, and I think I told this person that you need to make sure that it's a passion that is something you're willing to do for free for long enough that by the time it gets to get paid, it's like, oh man, I would have kept doing that for free, but thank God I don't have to. So just be so zealous before you even commit to it, and know that you're doing it because you love it, not because everyone else is doing it or because you want to do it. It's got to be like the only thing you can do.
That's beautiful advice, Coidiferous.
So that's how I see it.
Appreciate you. Ooh, and looky here, we got a super sticker from Dart Car. Hold on a sec. Ooh, we get to play a different sound.
Why did you send that super chat?
There you go.
I like that one quite a bit.
And we got a fist bump. Appreciate you, Dart Car.
All right, and then last one, and then we'll go back to the other four. I like these
Yeah,
4
we'll
4 4.
jump in 4-4 on the floor. It's a good. It's a classic beat. It's a classic rhythm structure. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's do. Yeah.
Gone, the fourth man. Lies the demon. Super chat.
Yes, raccoon.
I knew you'd bring an
shampoo.
Etrigan in there. I knew it happened.
There had to be. Then that was the thing is sourcing quotes for this. It actually helped because I reviewed all of our reactions as kind of prep for. I feel like you have all these things stored in your head.
I got a weird brain.
And I was like, I need to revisit all of these. So I was like, this will give me an ample opportunity to find some quotes that stand out from this particular franchise.
If
But
we've
yes,
met and I forget your name, it's because I keep all this stored in there. There's only so much space.
yes, it's all for movie details and ranking notes. Raccoon Shampoo, thank you so much for contributing to the super chats. What's one thing you want to see Gunn take from the DCAMU? The driving.
Yes.
Every movie
The
has to
driving.
begin on a city street.
All of the DCU must begin with someone driving or flying or transporting.
Yes.
I need to see transportation, whether it's speedboat, car. I want everything to open with a high-speed chase through Metropolis, Coast City, Gotham. I got terms. What do I want to see Gunn take from the DCAMU? I want to see him take the ability to introduce characters in a way that is fully fleshed out and trust the audience, but also doesn't underserve the character. I think one of the best things about the DCAMU is that the immediacy of us being endeared to these characters doesn't change movie to movie. It does a really good job going, hey, here's a small scene that tells you everything about them. The best movies, like the opening scene usually is a great through line of the entire film. I think the DCAMU did that exceptionally. So bringing that cohesiveness over to where you're like, oh, I love that character. You don't have to totally reintroduce them again. I trust you. Because there are archetypal characters in here. So the trust for the audience and the ability to tell big stories very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think James Gunn is really, I think he's really well attuned to bringing in obscure characters and lots of characters and having it feel natural and having it feel like, yeah, this is just one big organization of people who all happen to be dealing with this particular problem. And it's like, I remember the days of like the MCU figuring out how to cross over, how to incorporate like the broader universe in these micro installments without it feeling intrusive or having it feel, you know, shoehorned or anything like that. And so I feel like, yeah, we'll certainly get that whimsy of like, oh, here's a character I wasn't expecting. Like this journey through the DCAMU has given me a couple new favorites that I was none the wiser of beforehand.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, I feel like he'll have a strength for that, certainly. And I feel like, yeah, he will be able to give us all the fun and the bounce of these things without skewing too silly and while still giving us that emotional. Like the best of these always manage to be like tight and punchy, but not sacrificing the emotion. And I feel like he's been doing this long enough to have that level of efficiency, but also that level of like emotional potency.
And he loves the comics, so it'll show.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple people in the chat. We are not done with DC Animated. We're done with DC AMU, which is why we're ranking these. We got more DC Animated to go, and we got another one dropping next week. So we got stuff coming for you guys. So by all means, please do not think this is the end. It is the beginning-ish.
It took it took a while just to realize that this was its own continuity.
Yeah.
And so so we will certainly be back with more DC Animated, and sooner than you would imagine, even as you're watching this today. But yes, Coy, what number are we at?
We are at number 12. We are into the penultimate row now. We're going up. Okay, my number 12, this may be controversial because now we're into the good, but something's got to be low in the good. So here we are, The Death of Superman.
Okay.
I enjoyed the hell out of this. Know that. The Death of Superman was handled very well. I was actually really impressed with it as compared to its live-action counterpart. The only reason this and the next one didn't swap is I do feel like The Death of Superman is a story that's been told a number of times, and I do feel like this is the best telling of it, but I did feel like there were elements that felt, not color by numbers, but going through the motions. There were moments that felt like the emotional earned beat was because I had already felt it before. So I had a hard time judging this one because I'm so familiar with it. Now, that's not this movie's fault, but I'm acknowledging that someone that hasn't read this story, known this story, experienced this story, might put it higher. That's my only caveat. That being said, it's very high up because I really enjoyed Rebecca Romaine as Lois Lane. I love Ren Wilson as Lex.
Yeah.
I really think Jerry O'Connell's Clark shines here. This one is exceptional. It just can't be higher because I did feel moments of like, I know this story too well to really know what I'm experiencing this way.
Sure.
So this is my own problem.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder what you might have flip-flopped it with, and I wonder if it was what I was debating here.
Yeah.
Because for my, again, you'll be our numerology guy. What number are we on? We're 13.
This was 12.
This was 12. For me, number 12 at the moment, that's the other thing, is informing this list, almost every option I was like, man, I could flip-flop this one, I could flip-flop this one, and like I've been rearranging this list the entire time up until this point. So this is just my list as of today.
Yeah, I went through today.
Yeah, this is just as of today, here and now. But my number 12 would be Son of Batman at the moment. I really like Son of Batman in a sort of Batman Begins-y kind of way, and I think the only reason I put it here is because it is like the start of something that's only going to get that much greater each time, and this feels like an installment that you do have to weather a little bit to get to the benefits and the really endearing aspects of the Bruce Wayne and Damian relationship. Like seeing this movie, I was like, okay, I'm here for Damian and the potential of Damian, but I can also see why he's not maybe everyone's favorite Robin, why he's maybe a little controversial Robin. I get the scrappy-do factor and the fact that you really have to break through the outer, hardened shell of this kid who's been raised in the League of Shadows and all that. And so, yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, I really like this. This is really straight in its intent in the story it's telling. It almost has that Batman Begins quality because you are seeing so much of, Ra's al Ghul's side of the world.
Yeah.
Ra's al Ghul, I should say. And yeah, like it's a solid one, but again, it's like when I think of it, I think of the lovely and wonderful developments that come after it.
Totally fair.
So that's kind of why I put that there. And now I'm curious as to what your next one was.
Yeah, because this is a real. It could be a day-to-day swap.
Yeah.
So these last 3 have been 3-star films. I personally gave Justice League War, Judas Contract, and Hell to Pay 2.5 stars. I've given Batman Bad Blood, The Death of Superman, and this next one, and the next one after this 3 stars. This is a 3-star film.
Okay.
Batman Hush. I could have swapped Batman Hush and Death of Superman. Batman Hush did something interesting where it completely changed the twist. It did so in a way that I doubted my memory, and I actually want to give it credit for that because I love Batman Hush, and I was like, I know how this ends. And then it ended in a way that I was like, am I wrong? And it was kind of nice to be like, wait a second, did I change the ending myself? Now, I'm not going to give away either ending because maybe you haven't seen them, but I did at least appreciate the fact that it did the opposite of Death of Superman. Where my Death of Superman experience went was, I know this so well that I feel like I'm missing out on a new experience. Though I'm enjoying this, the Batman Hush experience was like, I love Batman Hush. Am I wrong? So the only reason that one's higher than the other is because at least my brain went like, what a novel approach. I thought the animation was solid. I really liked that they made a different style of animation for Batman Hush. I really enjoyed the Catwoman Batman stuff. I really appreciated how much they utilized the comic book storyline, how much of a greatest hits of his villains that storyline is from, the Jim Lee comics. But I do want to say, I don't think Batman Hush is necessarily a better film, but from my experience, those are the reason these could swap any day. So that's number 11 for me.
Okay, all right, not bad, not bad. My number 11 was your number 12. It was The Death of Superman.
We're very close.
Yeah, absolutely. And The Death of Superman to me was one where, I felt like this happens every so often with especially these kinds of movies where I feel like there is... Sometimes the goal is to be swept up in just this story and fully focused on that. And sometimes I'll find myself sitting watching something and going, I feel like this is a version of this, but not the version of this. And yeah, Death of Superman had a lot of good things going for it. I liked it as a Superman story better than what some of the earlier installments hailed a Superman story to maybe be. And the big thing this one was sort of missing for me was just that warmth of Superman, that warmth of Clark, and I don't dislike the take. Like I'm open to the new idea that like, oh, he's been with Diana and now he's with Lois, and this is all new to him, and he's having trouble opening up and putting her in that, asking her to embrace that danger. But at the same time, I don't know, having him being like so averse to having her meet Ma and Pa.
There was stuff like that I was like, that's not Superman.
There's it's like it has good wistful melancholy tones, and it has like that heart. It's like when the actual sacrifice comes down, you do feel the weight of that, and you do feel the pall that casts. However, I feel like if we had really felt that warmth, and if we had built the Lois and Clark relationship up over multiple, this is an example of a movie that does nicely to continue building the stakes of the Apokalips War. And it, gradually laces that in throughout, and this is another good example of that, whereas I feel like the Lois, Diana, Clark triangle could have been way better served up till this point, because it still feels like Death of Superman in one movie is trying to do all this emotional legwork.
I totally agree, and I'd forgotten about that was a problem I had too. I'd forgotten the Lois element was like, wait, what? Now it's happening? Okay, no, dead.
Yeah, so
that was a problem.
I'm like, I like having a love story that I can get behind a little bit, but also... I would like to really love these two more than feeling like I got to develop all that right now.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I'm right there with you. So my number 10 was already said by you. My personal number 10 is Throne of Atlantis.
Okay.
I agree with a lot of what you had to say. This is a 3-star film for me, but I definitely feel like it is one that could have been better if it was an Aquaman movie. It definitely is a Justice League Atlantis movie, and that definitely, affected my experience of it because we didn't really get an Aquaman experience. And, Aquaman is a character that is an important member of the Justice League. I understand that he's not the most popular, but if you're going to have him as a formative member, you really need to make a movie for him. And you may notice Batman, Superman, Constantine, there's all these characters, but where's Aquaman? It's literally Justice League Throne of Atlantis, and it felt like that. So one of the things I commended at the top of this was what I want James going to bring over is giving everyone their due. I don't feel like Sideburns Aquaman got his due.
No.
We see Sideburns Aquaman a lot, and we also made fun of Hawkman not getting to talk. I feel like Sideburns Aquaman kind of got the leading version of Hawkman, where it's like, you got a lot of time, don't know what you did. And that started to affect me. So it's not lower because my issues with Batman Hush was, changing an iconic ending in a way that made me at least go like, huh, but like not loving it. Death Superman, my lowest issues that John shared. All the rest of them had big problems. Justice League Throne of Atlantis, it's not telling me it's an Aquaman movie. If this was called Aquaman Throne of Atlantis, it'd be at the bottom because it's not an Aquaman movie. But the problem I have with it is it's a lacking in the whole thing that this is the best Band-Aid for, but still not quite a fully served movie, so I can't put it any higher. It makes the top 10, but only barely. And the rest of them are 3.5 and up. So this is my last of the good, and it's about to get great. Personally.
Yeah. And that one, too, just the last, to put the final nail on Throne of Atlantis, you, too, have that idea that, like, you've got Aquaman of Steel for most of the movie, and then at the end, when he's Aquaman now, he's like, hey, I'm just like a happy guy now.
That was
it's
so
like
weird.
a wholesale other character now.
Yeah, he's like the same voice actor doing a different character.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I felt. I agree.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, top 9.
Top 9.
What was your 10 though?
My number 10. Okay, here we go. I'm still
No, it's all
now
good. It's all good. That's
rearranging.
why I'm here.
All right, I'm just going to go with the gut. I feel like this might be a little bit blasphemy, but my number 10 was Reign of the Supermen.
Whoa.
Is that too low?
No, it's just mine. Well, mine's only 3 spots higher. It's just I'm surprised.
Okay, there's some
Spoilers
surprises.
for next round.
There are some surprises here. I mean,
I just remember our emotional investment in that one. But I'm not saying you're wrong.
You know
but-
what? I might change it on the fly.
Uh-oh. I'm not changing. I'm not trying to change you. I'm just surprised that
Well, that's
after
the
we
problem
talked
is
about it.
I made this list and I was like, I feel like there should be one more notch between.
I just remember you being like at all the Supermen.
Yeah.
So I'm just surprised at you. But again, I'm not trying to change it. I don't. There's no wrong here. It's your experience, audience.
You know what? I'm going to stick with this for now.
Stick with your guns.
I really liked this, and the thing is, in reviewing it, I liked it I liked it progressively as it went along. I think
me and Terry Ann made the same face.
see, that's the thing is I really liked it, and it gets better for me as it goes, and I really like this sort of fun. Like that's the thing is now we're to a point where like it's so hard to start ranking, and it's like each of them I've got a different reason for appreciating,
Sure.
and I'm thinking on. Like, that's the thing, is to explain the criteria, I tried to think of, like, what the definitive criteria for ranking should be, and I was like, I don't know, man, like, some of these are doing really well on just, like, a story technical level. Some of them are doing well on an emotional level. Some of them are doing all these different things. So Reign of the Superman, I really, really liked, and I think gets better and better as it goes, and I think the array of Supermen that they had was really nice, and the thing that this movie gets really right is that when Superman himself returns with the mullet and the black suit, you do feel like hope has returned. You do feel like there's just a catharsis and just like a swell that comes when he is back. It's got good Justice League moments. Lois and Diana getting to know each other in the wake of Clark's death, I think, is a really nice thing. There is that bit with them all just kind of standing there as the boom tube falls that I still think is like really kind of silly. But yeah, I think this one does really nicely in that, yeah, hope comes back to the room. I think it's a significant step up from what came before it.
Yeah.
I wish that there was, again, more of that. I keep feeling like we almost got there with Superman because we spend so much time on Batman. Batman's like the main character of his own movies in so many respects.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel like Superman is like fighting to be the main character in his own movie. But what I liked about this one is that, yeah, you have this idea of like when Superman's gone, who's going to fill the spot? A bunch of
These
semi-half
maniacal, almost,
Supermen.
yeah.
Yeah, so I really do like that. And on a different day, I might put it higher. It's just, yeah, today this is what my priorities were.
Stick to your
today.
guns.
Yeah.
I respect it. I was like, don't change because I don't know what's gonna move.
Just
but
like
yeah.
there's stuff I might put on sooner, but you never
Sure.
know. Yeah,
I enjoyed watching that with you because how well I know that story and how much you were like,
Yeah.
this is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 9, our last one of this round. My personal number 9, John has already had, so we've had very similar lists so far.
Okay.
Son of Batman. Son of Batman, it's my first 3.5 star, which puts it in the like good to great. Like it's almost great. It's right on the edge of great. I consider like 4 stars like great. This is like good great. Meaning it's got so much more right than wrong, but it definitely didn't feel. It felt short, and a lot of these don't feel short. A lot of these feel like they're the right runtime. I definitely found myself being like, okay, sometimes this feels slow, sometimes this feels fast. The pacing was off for me, where I was like, I'm invested, I'm not invested, I'm too invested, I want it to slow down. So, Son of the Batman, like, it told a very great story. I love the Talia relationship, and I didn't feel like the Talia-Batman relationship was shown strong enough in this to warrant the story. Like, without Talia and Batman working, Damian doesn't work. And without Damian working, the Bat family doesn't work. And without the Bat family working, Nightwing doesn't work. Like, there's just the big crux of it didn't quite land. So even though the rest was great, that definitely affected my experience because I definitely feel like with Talia and Batman, you need to believe their love, even if, you know, the way Damian was conceived is a little sketchy. But you've got to believe that, like, Batman could ever fall for it. And I never was like, she's a villain, she's leaving. Like, there was always a weird... I don't know, the whole DCAMU treated Talia weird. So the most I saw that
this was the best installment for her, though.
Sure.
Until she pieces out on that boat.
What? And that's a huge
and
problem
then comes
for me.
back later and is like, you stole my son.
I was like, what, you just left in that boat? So yeah, that I can't put it higher because of that element, but it is a good movie.
Sure, okay, yeah. I'm with you. I feel you.
That's 9. What's your 9?
What's my 9? My 9 right now, as of today, is Suicide Squad Hell to Pay.
Oh.
See, this is the thing. I really liked this. This was a breath of fresh air, and this was one of the ones to me that had that quality that, like, a JL Dark has, where it feels like, wow, we are definitely in the same universe, but we are in a very different side of the universe. And I feel like this movie is doing what you would hope a good exploitation movie would do, because it's very much borrowing from exploitation movies. It's in that style. I think that fits really well. But it's doing that thing well, and it's also doing just a little more than you thought it would. I think it has one of the best MacGuffins, like, ever, because you actually, like, it's useful, you care about it. It doesn't really matter what it is, but at the same time, it makes sense as to why everyone's chasing it, and I think it's a really nice way to do a surprise sequel to Flashpoint with all the Zoom stuff. I found that really gripping, and even though it gets a little overwhelming with, you've got... Vandal and Scandal Savage and all that stuff happening, and you got Professor Pig, and you've got, like, all these different things. Yeah, I just feel like they managed to balance the pulp with the fun road trip vibe, and then having this sort of, like, dual... I don't know, I really like the whole Floyd Lawton and Bronze Tiger back and forth, because they are, like, the yin and the yang of leadership of the Suicide Squad. Christian Slater and Vanessa Williams, I think, are great. I love the twist of Waller having a personal use for this mission.
Yeah.
So it's got all the Suicide Squad stuff, but it's got, like, these surprising character elements. I loved Copperhead. And just, yeah, like the new characters and things like that they would give us. So, yeah, this just left a big impression on me. And again, I feel like what you want from an exploitation movie is that pulp, that fun, and that edgy, grimy, you know, it's violent, it's rated R, but also I think this is just, you know, doing more than it needed to do, and it's succeeding at that stuff too.
I love it. I love that take, and I love the road trip elements of that one.
Yeah.
All right. I don't disagree with anything he had to say about his 9. Let's get into some Super Chats and Streamlabs, shall we?
Let's do that.
We did Supers last time. We'll check Stream first this time.
Let's check the Streamlibs. And thank you guys for keeping our little talk on track and structured.
Moving and grooving today.
You could be anywhere on a Sunday.
But you're here with us. We appreciate that.
I mean, you know, you could be born on a Monday.
Could be, and boy, oh boy, did that recently come to play.
Which, no, all of my top, my top 5 is just all the ones that Grundy appeared in. So
that's yeah. Spoiler alert for later in the chat.
That's the life hack. All right. Oh, and thank you so much, guys. We've already got a fair amount of super chat Streamlab contributions. There is a pinned link. It is the correct one. Greg has made sure of it. We would, like, again, thank you to Greg for putting this together. Like, I'm so grateful. I didn't know how this stream would go, and I feel like, you know, already this has been, you know, at least more sort of poppin' than I expected. So thank you guys for joining us, and thank you to Greg for again, gifting us with one of the best, you know, experiences here on the channel.
The fun runs we've had.
Just such a journey, and coming to know these characters and stories more intimately through this process has been like a real gift and a joy to me. So
and I wouldn't have had time to watch them otherwise, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so thank you again. To go shower Greg in likes and things, because yeah, it's all his design. But Sammy boy, hold up.
What happened?
Where is it?
Why did you send that super chat?
There you go.
It's back.
I found it interesting. The Superman and Wonder Woman relationship. Thought Injustice was the only universe. Are they a thing in the comics? And do they have a super kid? And is Apokalips War an original, or is there a second Flashpoint in the comics?
Okay, so Injustice is definitely a side verse. I'm glad you found the other. It sounds like sense. I don't personally see Superman and Wonder Woman together in many universes. I think it is kind of like an elseworldy decision that happens in the more darker, edgier ones because it's a way to make them both darker. They do have those moments in the Elseworld stuffs in the comics. You're asking if they have a thing. I don't think there is a kid. I can't think of any storyline where there's a Wonder Woman Superman kid. There might be. There's a lot of Elseworlds. I don't want to speak to all of comic books, but not to my immediate knowledge. And your last question is a second Flashpoint in the comics. There's the main Flashpoint, but the idea of a Flashpoint is a lot like an Infinite Crisis where it can kind of restart things. So I think in Elseworlds there might be other Flashpoints, but if you think of comic continuity, the Flashpoint is the singular entity. I hope that makes sense.
It makes sense to me, Koi
Because
Toy.
you've watched all these DC animated films.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like I have learned a lot from this experience. And Sammy Boy, once again,
Why did you send that super chat?
I was wondering, in the DC universe, what are Greek gods? What are the Greek gods? Are they aliens like Asgardians, or is the DC universe gods confirmed to be Greek, and is that the religion of the DC? Or is it an MCU-like system where all of them exists on other planes of the afterlife?
So I definitely know the Marvel structure more, in this case especially, like the afterlife and all those elements. That's definitely what I'm more used to. I don't actually know. I feel like Hercules is in both Marvel and DC because it was a character whose rights had expired and became public domain. Like, there are certain things that are just like, we can use this character. As far as like the way they're seen, I've never fallen into the they're an alien so they have powers thing. I know some writers like to do that. I feel like continuity changes so much there is no real answer here. I know that's a non-answer answer, but some writers like to make gods aliens. Some writers like to make aliens gods. Some writers like to make this element of the story supernatural when it wasn't. So this is kind of like, depending on who's writing it, is the answer. There's not really a main canon, to my knowledge, of what gods are to DC that I know of. Because there's also the old gods are your Zeus that made, Wonder Woman out of clay, that are, the ones you've heard of, the Greeks. But there's also the new gods, who are characters I love, like Mr. Miracle and Darkseid. There's Granny Goodness. There's a lot of gods. So I think it depends on the writer. Someone in the chat, it's the DC version of Greek gods or Darkseid and the new gods. So yeah, there's different like tiers of gods, and like they're called different stuff because it depends on how it's going.
Absolutely. Good crash course, Koi. And you know what I actually found out in just going over, all this stuff and notes is, was it JMD Mateus? He wrote a number of these and wanted to do like a New Gods movie in this continuity, and yeah, it just never came to fruition. But
he also wrote Kraven the Last Hunt. He's a good writer, JMD Mateus.
Oh, look out. Kraven trailer reaction up on the channel. Go check it out, people. All right, we got one from Sani or Sani, depending on your pronunciation there.
Why did you send that super chat?
If Superman Legacy, and thank you for contributing, BT Dubs, if Superman Legacy won't be a full origin story, I would like James Gunn to make an animated movie or a short of the journey Superman had to get to Legacy. I get people have seen it before, but to feel for a rebooted universe, you have to act like this is one of two. Let's go up to your other.
There we go.
You got to feel like someone's first Superman and doesn't know anything. Also, hope Gunn will integrate actors a lot with the animated movie so it doesn't feel like we missed the character for years to see him in a sequel. And is Brightburn now an Elseworlds story? I mean, okay, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's get that up on the screen. Okay. I feel like that's part of, before you take it away.
By all means, please.
I feel like that's definitely part of the game plan James Gunn laid down, was that the animated characters would be carrying over from live action and all that stuff would be interconnected. We'll see, when they have to use stand-in voices or not, a la something like What If. But I feel like that is their intent right now. And Brightburn is the new Superman origin story, and he just goes to a lot of therapy.
Yep.
But
Jackson Dunn is the young David Cornsweet. So it's canon here. You heard it here first.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, do you think that for the rebooted universe, would you want to see some kind of animated origin, or do you feel like we don't need that?
Personally, I think we've seen it enough. I mean, I feel like the guy, planet blew up, he got here. Like, there's so much that we know about Superman origin. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying as far as, like, it's new canon, we need to see it again. But I personally think some characters' origins are so much part of, like, the canon of our society, we don't need to see them reintegrated into a new canon because they're part of us. Like, we know the story. So I personally wouldn't. I would much rather see, as you said in your second part, I'd rather see them put that animation budget and time into connecting dots that we have. I would much rather see them not take 4 years between a sequel and make it the animated movie go there than start in the beginning, because we do have that so clearly. So if Superman Legacy comes out in 2025, they don't have time to do a Superman Legacy 2 or whatever they're going to call it until 2029. I'd rather see the 2027 movie not be an origin. I'd rather see it be another story. So personally, I think that story's been well tread, but I see what you're saying.
Absolutely. I get that.
I want to do this one last one, and then we'll head back.
Let's do it. Lone Wolf FX. Hold on. All right.
Why did you send that super chat?
Oh, no, wait. I wanted this one.
Okay.
Super chats, not vengeance.
It's a good one.
There you go. Hey, Rejects. Been watching you for years, but the first time on live stream. Glad to be here. Glad to have you.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining in the conversation and for being so generous. Glad to be here. My favorite DC animated films are Under the Red Hood, which is a banger. It was the first one we watched, and I sat down, and the first thing I realized was, oh yeah, we don't get to include that.
Yeah.
We started this
We
journey.
started on a journey that is not in this.
With two bangers, and one is fodder
here.
for this list, and the other one is not. But
And
yeah.
also, my number one of all the DC Animated Universe films, not DC Animated Movie Universe, the DC Animated films isn't in this. My number one of all, you know what it is. It's got a lot of pizza.
Yes! I was hoping. That's
so
what I was hoping
when we
for.
do our top, all of them, we'll see if that one holds the number one spot. But my number one spot is
it's theirs to lose, boy.
man,
It's the Suicide
Vanilla
Squad.
Ice Rap. That was
to
such a
lose.
good joke. Suicide Squad. But yeah, that's my number one. It did make the list.
So DC animated films under Red Hood. Favorite DC animated are Under the Red Hood, Batman Year One, which we have not watched yet, and Flashpoint, City of Demons. And I can't forget Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. I recommend it. I remember when that came out. I don't think I ever saw it, though.
I think I saw. I don't remember it. I think I saw, if it went to the theaters, I think I saw it. But I know I saw Mask of the Phantasm. And there's like 3 movies. I don't think I've seen the Mr. Freeze one. And I don't remember Return of the Joker if I've seen it. Like, I feel like I might have, but it was when it came out.
Oh, good.
And I was a wee lad.
Wow.
So yeah, very excited to rediscover, if not discover.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Batman Beyond.
But yeah, these that you've listed here are all great, and
Yeah.
some of them are gonna be on this list in just a mo. In fact, but yeah, I mean, this is a great quality list here. And guys, by all means, I mean, we are ranking the DCAMU today, the animated movie universe. It took us
plenty.
ages to figure out that that's what the acronym was. But leave your favorites of all the DC animated movies, because chances are we've already covered 1 or 2 of them, or we're going to get some nice anticipation from your guys' enthusiasm to move forward. But yeah, thank you, Lone Wolf. Thank you very much.
As
Good
we
picks.
transition back, hit that like button, because boy, oh boy, there's a lot of you in here, and there's not enough likes to show the amount. We see the number of you in here, and we see the number of likes. We'd like those closer together.
Absolutely.
So hit that like if you don't mind. Be appreciated. All right, let's go back over to the glory. That is the DCAMU coming in
Absolutely.
at number 8. Do you want to? Yeah, let's. I did the bottom half starting off. You do the top half starting off.
Oh, okay.
Number 8 for you.
Okay.
Good sir. We'll pivot.
Oh,
Because out of 16, we're in the top half. We're in the top 8.
I'm in the hot seat now.
Now
leave a like for the top 8
that
people.
pressure.
Okay, let's jump back into the list. My number 8, drum roll, is that's the thing is, man, like this was again a hard list, because there are like ones where I'm like, this one up the list I would rank lower than this one down the list, but in the overall, yeah, this was really hard. But my number 8 right now is Wonder Woman Bloodlines. I really liked this movie, and this gave me what I kind of wanted from the Aquaman one, while also giving me a really nice portrait of Diana as a character to redefine her after meeting her, or after experiencing her in Justice League War, which, again, she's got that sort of like, I'm charged up to fight kind of vibe. And I thought this really nicely represented her personality. I really liked the stuff with, oh God, what is it? Damn it, what is her name? The girl who becomes, sort of entangled in all of this,
what is her name?
Who has the wings by the end and all that.
Yeah.
I just really liked Themyscira and the debate of that, and Diana's journey throughout this. The fact that this
Silver Swan, Vanessa Capitalis?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I remember Vanessa. I don't remember the Capitalis.
Yeah, and
Sorry to interrupt.
I liked having your consortium of like Dr. Poison and you know, just the coterie of villains and female rogues at that. I thought the story moved really gracefully. I liked the character portrait we got of Diana, and yeah, like this gave me the exploration and the sort of Themysciran aesthetic the way I kind of wanted to feel more at home in and exploring Atlantis,
I agree.
while splitting the difference with our world and the tension of that, and you know, Diana ultimately coming back and earning the respect and everything. Yeah, I just thought this was like really graceful and breathed like an actual movie.
To tease, this is the biggest gap between us.
Really?
Wonder Woman, where you have Wonder Woman, this is the first time we've been more than 3 apart.
Oh my god.
First time, but I'm saying, I'm keeping track.
I'm
I've got a whole
excited.
schematics in here.
It can only be higher.
That math. Now, but more than 3 is the biggest disparate
I know.
distance. Now, my number 8 is Batman versus Robin, which I really enjoyed. This is my first 4-star film. Now we're out of the 3.5, we're into the 4. These are the greats. For perspective, I only have 1 4.5 star in this entire list. So the rest of these are 4 until my number 1.
Leave a like for greatness.
Leave because it's great, and also that certain turtle movie is a 4.5 star. That movie's a match.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Batman versus Robin. I really, really dug because to me, this really showed Damian Wayne. This really showed why I love this character. I love the elements with Talon. I love that Talon genuinely felt like an other Batman. Like I feel like they always do the villain is a lot like if things went wrong from your hero. You got Iron Man, Ironmonger. You've got like Thor and Loki. There's this trope of look at your mirror self. Logan did it very literally and had like, you know, Wolverine Logan fighting a version of himself that was like off the leash kind of, you know, a reflection. This, I thought, with Talos did a really good job where you almost sympathized with where Talos was coming from to the point where you're like, man, Talon. Oh, but I keep saying Talos.
He's not a Skrull too.
Oh, that's why, because Secret Invasion is
not
on my
possible.
mind. But Talon, I really enjoyed because it was so well fleshed out. It made me believe Damian believing in him. Usually when there's like, why is that young boy falling for that impressionable, clear supervillain? It wasn't. It was like actually an investable story. I really loved, again, how Alfred and Batman's relationship grew out of the Court of Owls element. This, to me, was one of those, like, such a good Batman story. Now, maybe it's my Batman bias, but I really think Batman versus Robin is the first of them. It's the lowest, but it's the first of these to be great.
Absolutely, Cole.
It's my number 8.
I agree with you. That's a great pick. It might be on my list somewhere.
I mean, I hope so.
All right, my next one, I was surprised. I thought I was going to rank this lower, in fact.
Oh.
And in revisiting it, I was just sitting there going, ah, man, though this just got this got something, man. Like Batman Hush, I feel like is, even though the twist and the journey of the book is probably better overall.
Okay.
I will say that this movie just pulled me right in with a sort of what I view to be a sort of classic Batman kind of feeling where I really felt the aura of Gotham. I loved the back and forth between him and Selina, and the fact that you've got these parallel relationships between Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne and Batman and Catwoman.
Love
and
that.
you have her starting out in this position of being a rogue and then slowly snapping out of Poison Ivy's spell and you know, becoming Bruce's ally throughout these things, and that real debate coming down to the ultimate factor of, you know, that ending beat of why they can't be together because he couldn't stand to, you know, even take out this most sort of like he couldn't stand to execute this one guy who clearly deserves it, and that being sort of indicative of their line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it just had good, fun use of the rogues, good Bane and Poison Ivy and stuff like that. I like the Superman subplot with him, you know, being all sort of, he's like possessed in that one, right? Yeah, like I thought that was a really nice bit there. Harley and the Joker being framed and having that whole device of, or Joker being framed for the death of Thomas and Elliot, and being sort of, I love that dynamic of everyone being like, I want to take credit. I would do this, but I didn't
do this.
Yeah, I just thought that was so much fun. And while, yeah, the twist in the comics is a bigger shoe drop, I did think that the choice grew on me, basically, to have Riddler, who I remember you saying at the time that Hush would have come out would have been kind of maybe more of a C-lister anyway. He certainly had his profile as a character rise over time. And so for me here, I was like, I kind of like the fact that you get to have, if you're familiar at all with the story, then that moment of like, wait a minute, this isn't what I remember. So like that caught me. But then the explanation, while you're taken aback at first, like I thought it was actually kind of decent, and I liked the idea of the Riddler really kind of wanting to transcend his station and really kind of grab Batman in a more sort of intimate Joker kind of way.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one, yeah, I thought would be lower because at the time I was like, this feels like an adaptation, maybe not the adaptation, but just the flavors of like this Batman story with a strong Catwoman element, strong element of the rogues, but still very much, of Gotham and all those things. I just thought it was like really flavorful and nice. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I love that. I'm glad you got so much out of it. I always want people to feel all those details, even if I don't. My next one is one you had a few ago, The Reign of the Supermen. For me, this is up there because it is continuing a story that we have seen many times, but we haven't seen this part of it told a lot. We've seen a lot of the death of Superman. We haven't seen a lot of the reign of the Superman. Now, a lot of that is because I grew up right as these were getting really popular. I remember the Death of Superman comic, that black bag that like sold out everywhere. I remember reading the reign of Superman and being like, what's going to happen? So I have a lot of like nostalgia and emotion tied to this era in comic books. I remember my uncle had all these comics, and I had Spider-Man and X-Men because I was collecting at the time. So I'd be able to read his DC books, and these were some of the ones that I was like, oh my God, I love DC. So there's a lot of love tied into that, and I really think they did a good job making us hate certain characters, love certain characters. I definitely was like, oh, Henshaw. I actually felt more animosity towards him here than in the comics, which is impressive. So it's one of those things where if it improved upon the comics, it's going to be pretty high for me. And I really liked watching it with John because I knew every twist and turn, and he didn't, so I got to kind of relive it. So I got to have the experience of being like, oh, wait, I'm 10 again because I'm watching someone like, oh, and in a new medium. It went from being like, flip, 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 end of the month, flip, 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 to someone being like, I know he's about to freak out, and me being like, ah. So I got
Those are some of my favorite moments throughout this whole journey.
Because I get to be like,
I love being shocked and then being like, Coy, why?
You knew this the whole time.
Yeah.
Why did you say that twist?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to enjoy that anew. So that Reign of Superman experience is going to make it higher, both by nostalgia. It's past, present, and future improvements because I got to live it again. So
that's a man. Like part of me is like, I should put that higher. Like,
well, when you were like it's that low, I was
really like. But that's the thing is
again,
to
low.
me, yeah. Like again, to me, low is marginal, and that's the thing is this is fun to me. I like a ranking where you could really argue it, and again, where your opinion could be drastically different day to day. And I love the Lex and Superboy stuff in that movie. Like
I've got 7 movies tied for second, effectively, because they're all 4-star. That's the
you
thing.
know what? That's this list.
You know what I mean?
Though,
It's
is
like
that
7 tied for
number
second.
5 is like 5 movies. Yeah,
there's
it's like,
1 4.5.
I have like a
7
bottom
4s.
4, a bunch of number 5s, and then like a top 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. It's just lower than and that's day by day.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where today that falls at 7.
Yeah, and I do think that Reign of the Superman. I don't know, retroactively move it up the list because it does really nicely, starting with all this chaos and then tuning that into one.
It
solid
opens with
frequency.
so many twists, and the movie is a whopping like 80 minutes. It's 87 minutes, and it does like 3 hours worth of storytelling.
See, that's the thing is both times watching it in full and then watching back the reaction and stuff. Both times I started out being like, this is a lot, and then as it goes, I'm like,
they're doing a lot.
This is cooking, man. And then by the end, you're like, yeah. And it is a much better. That's the thing is, I wanted to put more things between it and Death of Superman, just because it is a much better part 2 than part 1 is.
Which is also impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's high up for me. It's a confident great.
I will be in here commenting on myself, ranting at me, but
maybe
feel
it should
free.
be higher.
Yeah, leave a like if you would have ranked Reign of the Superman higher than me.
The
I want
viewers
to
and
get
likes
to
are getting closer.
There we go. We just got 2 more likes.
That's
on
how we
there.
get it. We
I
get
want
the
to get
votes.
to at least 666 before we're done here.
Oh, I like that. That ties into my next movie pretty well. What's your number 6?
What's my
to
number
tease
6?
My 666 movie.
All right. My number 6 is Justice League Dark Apokalips War.
Oh.
Justice League Dark Apokalips War is my number what? 6. Okay, good. You're the number guy.
I got you. Justice League Dark 666. It's appropriate.
This was a hard one to rank too, and it's the most obviously fresh in our minds from this continuity. But this was one that I feel like a big culminative crossover event, climax can be a lot, and a lot to cram into not very much time.
Yeah.
And I feel like this there's just something special about Constantine, man. Like, this did really nicely, I think, to pay off all the Apokalips and Darkseid stuff that we had been building over time. You get all the sort of, heart dropping, nastiness of the brainwashed Batman and the desperate Superman. And you really feel like the end times have come and gone, and like we are on this last-ditched doomed mission to just maybe scrape a chance at resetting everything and maybe coming out a little better than we did this time. I felt all those stakes, and yeah, you do get like this massive crossover as a result, but I thought it made for a lot of great Justice League-y moments, and yeah, you are separated from, you have Clark, Superman, but he's depowered, so you're separated from a lot of the things that bring you comfort in these movies.
Yeah.
And then having Constantine really kind of have to step up as the lead, and having these dynamics of his trauma regarding Zatanna, and that ultimate tie around where it's like Batman planned this.
Love
he
that.
knew
Love
that
that.
we would need you if shit hit the fan, and so he knew to have Zatanna make you like that was just such a beautiful piece. And it's funny, I saw somebody over there being like, you ranked War lower than Apokalips War, but to me, like, Apokalips War managed to bring you all that foreboding and nastiness, and you feel the toll that all this has taken. However, I feel like it manages to balance out like an appropriately hefty and dour finale, but that also has a certain amount of triumph. And then when everything resets again, it is kind of a beautiful coda to all of this in a way to pay off that first chapter of Flashpoint.
I love that. I have it higher, but I love that. I haven't said it yet.
And Tony Todd Darkseid, like always.
Someone said in Kingdom Come they have a kid. I think they mean Wonder Woman and Superman.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I loved Kingdom Come, but I haven't read it since it was coming out. I think I was like 9. So I love me some Kingdom Come from memory, but I had forgotten that element, so I apologize. And apparently that is true. I'm trusting someone in the chat. Anna Dewa Mabanga says that they have a kid, so I trust them.
And Mera does not get enough respect as
very good
Batman. I think he did a terrific job.
Agreed. I'm going to go with my number 6, also being 666 appropriate. I got one where a guy, we've been here an hour, fucks a city. I got Constantine, City of Demons. I
Bring it in.
love this movie. This was the one that had me just like, I believe in animation.
Yes.
I believe that some mediums serve some stories better than others. I've always said the medium of animation is going to serve some stories. I said it earlier in this. I said there are things in image that would serve animation better than live action. I've always said the medium is so important to look at what you're making. I think the story they told in Civil War, the movie, serves the movie medium better than the comic medium, and I think the comic medium told that story better. The mediums are important. This movie is the medium using R-rated animation. I love the magic. I love the character. I love the voice performances. I love the fact that I live in LA and I'm walking around LA thinking of Constantine fucking my city. I love that it affected my day-to-day. I love that the experience of what this town is reflected in that. There are highs in this town. There are lows in this town. This whole town is reflected, as well as the DC universe. So it blended the mediums of my life. It blended my reality with my comic reality, and it did it all while telling a really beautiful story that makes you feel for Constantine, that makes you suffer, that makes you understand that Constantine is always suffering. He always loses. There's always a cost. I love the love of this movie. Like this is a love letter to the character of Constantine, who doesn't get the credit he deserves. John Constantine is one of the best comic characters of all time, and this movie knew it and loved it, and it's really hard not to put it higher. I adored this film.
Here. I hear you.
Comfy 4. Very good.
It might be on my list.
I hope.
It could be.
I can only imagine it's higher.
Ooh.
Spoiler
You
alert.
never know. It might be
It might
higher.
be on the list.
It might be pretty high on my list.
All right.
Coy.
All right.
This was a hard list to make.
It was a hard list to make.
Absolutely. Is it one more me and then we do more super chats?
Did you do your 6 yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you started.
Right?
Remember?
It was Apokalips.
I was.
yeah.
This time you pivot. So yeah, you got one more, and then we go to
one
super
more.
chat.
All right. My number 5, breaking the top 5, right? Yeah, okay. My number 5 is one, obviously, you have talked about already. But yeah, this was one that really just made a certain relationship sing. It did something for each of its characters, and that would be Batman versus Robin.
There it is.
This was a terrific story, and this one was one that really, like, I liked the intro to Damian in Son of Batman, and that was, you know, my real first taste of Damian Wayne as Robin, as Bruce's, all that stuff. And I knew that at the time, you know, yeah, Damian might not be everyone's favorite Robin. This movie really endeared me to him, to their relationship. I think they've done a really nice job across all of the Damian-centric stories in growing that character and bringing him gradually out of this shell, making him authentic to where you met him, but also very much different than where you met him. And this movie is crucial to that growth. This gave us Weird Al as the doll maker.
It did.
One of the most satisfying, like, random cameos. And yeah, I just love that it's a battle for Damian's soul, but it's also got to do with the Court of Owls. It's going deep within the sort of conspiracies that have built Gotham, the shadowy machinations that his parents may have been involved with. And yeah, it's a great look at Bruce's character, and there's some great, like, sort of, you know, nightmarish interludes kind of poking and prodding at his psyche. The Samantha twist is, like, pretty obvious that she's gonna be, you know, an owl.
One of the reasons it was lower for me.
Betray him. Yeah, like, that's the one major thing I would say, like, but also, like, I really liked Jeremy Sisto as Talon, and I really liked having these dueling mentors and having Damian really have to choose between one and really come for himself to the ideology of justice, not vengeance.
And that so reflects his relationship with his mom and dad. Like, and that reflects Ra's al Ghul. There's so much in it.
Yeah, it's terrific. It's like, thinking about it, there are other installments that maybe come to mind first that are maybe a little bit flashier, but this one felt like I was reading a Batman graphic novel. This one felt like, yeah, I was getting a really nice dive on both Bruce and Damian. It's developing both of their characters, and it's a little less... Son of Batman has that thing where Damian's like, I want to do things my way. I know what I'm doing. And Batman's like, damn it, Damian, you're a pain in my ass. You need to learn how to friggin' be.
It's really a father-son story. Like, truly, Son of Batman.
Yeah, and this one has that, but you get the benefit of actually getting to grow beyond that initial point in a really effective way. So, yeah, I thought this was terrific, and that's why it's my number 5.
All right, my number 5 is the power of John Constantine mixed with the Justice League themselves. This is Justice League Dark.
Ooh.
I adored this because not only did it give my boy John Constantine love, which I just gave some love to number 6, but it included the Justice League in a way that didn't undercut either set of them. I was so impressed with how much this juggled. This truly felt like a team thing. This truly felt like all of the pieces were served. I love that Constantine kind of led the Justice League here. I love that Batman kind of had to be like, well, sometimes I'm wrong. Not so directly, but I love how much Batman hates magic. I love how much they have to use the occult here. I love how much everyone's out of their element except the magic users. I love how they play around with all the different characters in a way that teaches you about them, but also gives you time to engage in their comic storyline. And I think this is the best use of Zatanna. I think they really gave Zatanna the justice Dark she deserves. I really, really think
League Dark.
I really think I love Zatanna, and if I was gonna say, like, hey, if you don't love the medium of comics, there's this character Zatanna I love, I would probably give them this. Like, I feel like this is how you show what Zatanna, her power set is, how you show Constantine in a team dynamic. It's a little bit more approachable than Constantine's City of Demons, and that's why, like, I think it's slightly higher for approachability and rewatchability. I think that if it was just about, like, an experience, I maybe was more palm sweaty in City of Demons, but I think that Justice League Dark edges it out just because it does Batman justice, Constantine justice, Zatanna justice. Like, the Justice League Dark all get that just desserts. And I don't know, it's damn near perfect. Like, I don't have anything that I don't have a negative. That's why it's top 5. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah. A hard agree.
Big love.
It could have made my list, Coy.
I hope
You
I
just
hope
never
to
know.
hear about how and why it did.
Just never know.
I feel like that's
Coy.
to come.
It could be. I don't want to tease anybody too much and get their hopes up, but it could be. Should we hop back in and see
I
what
think
the
we
people are
should see how the
saying?
people are doing.
Leave a like for Zatanna, by the way. I feel like
If you love Zatanna,
we
you
need
love
some
that like
more
button.
Zatanna in the live actions,
Oh.
in the animated space. We need more Zatanna in every space.
I agree. Anna de Armas.
I would say, ooh, I could see that. Yeah.
She just has that little twinkle in her eye that feels like she knows magic.
She does.
Like, already. Like, even without her being cast, when I see Anna de Armas, I'm like, I bet she knows magic.
Yeah.
Like, just day to day, as you do. All right, what do we got? What do we got?
Alrighty, let's hop back
Bum, bum,
into the super.
bum.
And thank you guys again. Thank you guys for this. Is a bit different of a structure than our normal, movie news live stream or spoiler talk live stream. So thank you guys for fueling the convo. And yeah, keep your thoughts and opinions coming. Feel free to leave your own versions of the rank.
Yeah,
and
what definitely
leave
want to hear
that
your
like.
If you like this 4 to 4, hit that like. If you have your own vision, hit that like. Also, I want to hear your lists.
Absolute vodka. All right, who did we leave off at? Oh, we got a good amount to get through. All right, here we go. Doe Eyes. Here we go. Doe Eyes. Thank you so much for joining in. And ooh, hey, let's Come on! Come on!
Why did you send that super chat?
There you go. That one worked.
Super chats, not vengeance.
There you go. That's what I wanted. I think this series. Thank you, Doe Eyes, by the way. Thank you for contributing to the super chat. We're keeping them open for the time being. We'll probably close them down in the next 20 or so minutes. But keep them going while you can. I think this series might be my favorite thing on the channel right now. Can't wait for more. Thank you so much, Doe Eyes. Let me get you there on the screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That means a lot. Again, I'm not being, I'm not just blowing smoke when I say that. I'm extremely grateful for this experience, for you,
Been fun,
being
man.
gung-ho to do this.
Every week,
I adore
strapping
this.
in.
This has been a real treat and a privilege.
I've
for
done a
me,
lot of
so-
series on the YouTubes, and this is amongst my favorite ever. And we listed a few times why, but it's also like one I'm really glad we get to continue with out of this universe. I'm glad there's so many, is what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
if this does well, maybe we'll rank all of them at the very end, which would be like a 6-hour stream. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, and that
So keep
means
sending those likes
more
if you
likes.
want more rankings.
also if this whole series does well, mayhaps Marvel, because there's some stuff I haven't seen over in the
There's-
Marvel
oh,
animated
yeah.
universe.
Oh yeah, they gotta have some good films in their repertoire.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Doe Eyes. Fear and Loathing, in general, I like that very
This
very
is for
much.
your name. I'm just clapping for your name.
It's for your name.
Gone the form of man. Lies the demon. Super chat.
Yes.
I feel like Hunter would have liked Etrigan. I feel like they would have gotten along.
I think so too. Gunn has said actors are gonna play themselves.
Ah,
Actors are gonna do their own payroll.
guys, I'm gonna go
all
ahead
right?
and
They're
tuck
gonna
this in
decide
there
their
and
rates.
put this over there. Yeah, that one letter changes a lot of that.
Yeah. Gunn has said his actors are going to play themselves across media, movies, games, animated, etc. Do you see this as a pro or a con? I see it as a pro. I think it's something that is definitely going to we're going to have to wait and see just how much consistency they can wring. And the thing is that this hinges on all of these being successful to some degree. But I like it. I mean, it's unprecedented at the moment, I feel like, to do video games, animated shows and movies, and live-action movies, and have a likeness of cast. I mean, even the MCU right now doesn't completely have that. So that's a cool opportunity, and I think it could work.
I do think they're going to be in their contracts from the jump, as opposed to Marvel that had to figure it out as they went along. Because remember, this 2008, there weren't shared universes, so Marvel had to invent a thing and then play catch up, whereas DC gets to go what's working?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. And I feel like James Gunn also has a lot of experience with shared universes, which again didn't exist. So I think there's a strength in doing it second. We've had other things do it since, but doing it to this scale second, I do think they're going to have more scheduling ability because it's built in. Because if you sign up for something for a 10-year plan and you've got this amount of time, when you book other things, you're probably going to schedule for it. So I think this is a really unique opportunity, and I'm excited to see how it does.
Absolutely. Same here. Do you guys like that idea? I mean, I feel like generally people are pretty excited, but leave your thoughts below. Leave a like for voice actors and live actors across all media. And Christian Unpronounceable. Oh, we get to use a hitherto unused sound effect.
He's dead and I accept the super chat.
Yes!
One of the best lines.
Real good work.
He's dead and I accept the risks.
I love that.
Sorry.
And the super chat.
Christian Unpronounceable, thank you so much for chiming in. And yes, he says, I will support a great channel that cares about its employees and viewers. Love you guys. Thank
Appreciate that
you.
very much.
Appreciate that. We are very well taken care of here. We are very privileged and blessed to be in the position that we are in, even in these strange and uncertain times. And yeah,
Turbulent times.
Thank you to Greg for letting us both partake in this mad. kind of magical operation that he's built. So.
Yeah, it's a really unique thing to be able to talk about what you love for a living, and it is a tricky time for all of us making what we love and talking about what we love. So it's very good to have a seat, and much appreciated.
Absolutely. 612 concurrence. That's my birthday number. That's good. Let's get to 612 likes from my recently past birthday. That's all I want is a belated birthday present of likes.
I got to be the person that say happy birthday to John first. Fun fact. I saw him the night before, and I was like, I'm going to call it. I'm going to shoot my shot immediately. I was like, I know what's coming.
Honored, Coy.
Shot my shot early. I was like, it's 10 p.m. That's close enough.
Liam. Hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take
Do you remember that? I was like, it's like almost, it's 1 a.m. in the East Coast. That means it's somewhere it's your birthday.
Well, I don't know. And the way I behave around birthdays is usually the opposite. It's usually people being like a week later, like, wasn't it your birthday? Hey, happy birthday.
Oh,
so
did you hide your birthday?
I'm just not like the best at being like, guys, it's my birthday. Like, come look at me.
Opposite.
And I don't begrudge anybody who does. I wish I was that guy.
My birthday's September 15th.
People raise
You'll know
eyebrows
September
at
1.
you.
You'll know the first of the month of my birthday that's in the middle. You'll know.
I'm excited.
I do. Well, you mean you came to my last one?
I can.
We had a sunrise. You and I on my last birthday. I do birthdays. That was a quest.
We birthday.
We birthdayed hard on my last birthday.
Yeah, I'm glad we bonded.
Count on it again.
That was a bonding experience.
Birthday's gonna be bananas.
And I will. Liam, can't wait for you. Oh, wait. We can't proceed. Hold on a second.
Why did you send that super chat?
Can't wait. Sorry, that's not really a quote from these movies, but it is one of like the most
it's
reliable
Easter egg.
us going through this.
It's just as reliable as Cars.
Yeah, it is. All right. That's, again, if James Gunn doesn't start out with a car chase on a city street, I will be very disappointed. Liam, thank you for chiming in. And can't wait for you to watch the Tomorrowverse. That is another pocket of this DC animated goodness that I think has at least a few installments in it. So
might be easier to rank.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's less than 10.
All righty. And should we do one more?
Yeah, well, this ties into our last one.
Oh, yeah.
So we should definitely include that one.
All right. Fear and Loathing in general.
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Thank you so much. Oh, and thank you for correcting that.
Which is funny.
Play themselves 1,000 pardons for my typo. Wouldn't want to look like an ass code.
I assume that was on purpose, which I also respect.
I hope it wasn't.
I like the idea. It's like, I spelled it wrong. Too late. It's already sent. It's already out there.
You look like a double asshole.
Fear and Loathing in general, we appreciate for your correction, and we got you.
All right.
All right, top 4?
Let's do the top 4.
The final countdown.
Yeah, and then we'll we'll do the top 4, and then we will open it up to the last of the super chats. We're getting to the point where we will have to wrap up before too long, so get them in while you can. But Coy, what do you got for us, bud? What's your number 4? Or is it me on number 4?
You're number 4?
I am on number 4. Well, then, John, get with the program. All right. What do we do last? Oh, here we go. This is a fun one. This is a fun one. I'm very curious because I know we have yet to get to this for you. Interesting. Okay, there's still a couple things left on this list.
We haven't gotten to my
about.
one that I was like biggest gap either.
That's true. Oh, okay.
She's in my top 4.
My number 4 is a Justice League title again, but it's also a crossover title, and it is Justice League versus Teen Titans.
Oh, guess what number 4 is? Justice League versus Teen
Titans. Yes,
back on the board.
Yes. Wait, hold on. Where is it? There we go.
We've been more aligned than not. I think like 7 or 8 of them have been the same.
Yeah.
There
are a couple that are disparate, but for the most part, all right. Well, then, hey, let's teamwork
all
this
right.
one.
What do we both think of Justice League versus Teen Titans?
This was such a delight, and this had a what I appreciated about this, I think, the most was that it had this beautiful influx of youthful energy that really felt like uniquely akin to teens. Without it feeling, we talked about this in the review. I think there's often a binary in superhero media, especially where it's either like really kiddie or for adults. And I think this really nicely occupies the middle space where, like, yeah, it's geared and in the voice of teens, people coming of age, but also it's got all the other things that you want. It's got some romance, but it's got a really cool and hellish kind of sci-fi horror action-scape about it. And yeah, just the character relationships, this purpose it serves for Damian's growth. and the introduction of characters like Blue Beetle and Beast Boy and Raven especially, the dynamic having, like Uncle Nightwing and Starfire and Uncle Cyborg too. Like, yeah, there's just so many charming and wonderful aspects of that. I don't want to hog all the talking points.
No, I totally agree with everything you said, and we'll join that with saying I love that it feels like two different writers doing like a mashup. The young and adult themes are both like, you feel the Teen Titans is written young and you feel that it's written old, but it doesn't feel like they don't mesh. It feels like the universe is that well fleshed out. It feels like you found a universe you could have the all ages thing, but it doesn't feel like it sacrifices either. I feel like both teams got their due. I also feel like we actually got to see some real dynamics between characters we wouldn't normally get to see. I think a lot of people forget how the reason the Avengers was so exciting is we'd never seen that happen before. We'd never see some of these characters interact. And a lot of the fun of the Marvel film universe is being like, oh my God, what would it be like if blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And this felt like that to me. It felt like, what would happen if they... And it was so cool. It felt like a comic. It felt like when you're a kid in the sandbox and you got all these toys and you're like, bet they'd talk like this. And it worked. So I love that the reason they fought was due. I love that the reason they solved the problem felt justified. I loved that everything didn't feel like it was just a MacGuffin or a Deus Ex Machina of why it's happening. This movie, exceptional.
Yeah,
Number 4.
absolutely. And it manages to feel like you're reading a Teen Titans book that still serves the Justice League for why they're there.
And the issues that are Justice League that feature the Teen Titans.
Yeah. And it makes sense why they're fighting. The power scale is well attuned.
Yeah.
Because it could easily go wrong in a movie like this. Yeah, this was just a real sort of surprise joy.
Yeah, I agree.
Didn't know what to expect. This was my first exposure really to Teen Titans as a concept, and yeah, I think it's real top notch.
This was definitely my biggest, wow, this is incredible, and I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Because I expected a lot out of Constantine. I didn't expect that much, but I didn't expect a lot of Justice League versus Teen Titans because I was like, how are they going to make all those characters work?
Yeah.
5 minutes in, I was like, you goddamn right.
And we got to spend actual time with them having fun, which is, I think, underrated.
I agree. Yeah, fun. Let side scenes happen.
Yeah.
Let the scene at the farmhouse in Avengers: Age of Ultron happen. Let the bar scene. You got to let these characters breathe.
Absolute vodka. Well, let's move on
Number
to number
3.
3. Here we go. Oh, coy. Oh, we're getting close, man.
What do we got?
My number 3, you have talked about.
Okay.
And I think we share a lot of similar opinions on it.
Okay.
It is Constantine City of Demons.
Oh, it's good.
Constantine City of Demons is, to me, is the most sort of unique in a way. It's in its own unique lane. And I appreciate that it certainly has the things that you want out of a comic book story that are maybe aimed at a teenage audience or whatever. I feel like that's often, sort of part of your audience. But this one felt the most sort of committed to no, we're going to make this an adult animated movie with a very distinct sense of aura. I loved using Los Angeles and the dark shadow side of Los Angeles. As you said, the personification of the spirit of the city. I think their takes on, demons and demonic figures as icky hell business folks works better than I see it in a lot of other media in this. And yeah, Constantine, I think across this... Sure. Constantine throughout this journey is just such a captivating character, and I thought this nicely brought us a story that is very personal to him, to his past and backstory, but that also just feels huge.
Yeah.
And, you're awash in this magical realm and this hellish realm. And, it's punk rock and it's metal and it's dank and moist and gooey and carnal and demonic and dreary in a good way. I like the Aztec gods stuff. And little demon Constantines and everything. The ending,
wetly.
The resolve, the tragedy of fixing the problem, but at the cost of everyone having to go their separate ways, none the wiser. I thought it had a great pace and a great tone and just a great sort of graceful sense of air about it, despite how kind of harsh and hellish some of it is. This was operating on a different plane, and to me it was a breath of fresh, albeit very, sort
acrid
of putrid,
air.
acrid air. Yeah, definitely. This was very gripping.
It does squelch wetly. It does.
The squelch is intense.
So squelchy.
The squelch intensifies grandly.
All right, my number 3 and our most different. We have finally arrived.
We have arrived.
Wonder Woman Bloodlines.
Ooh.
You remember when this ended? I was like, they figured it out. They wrote Wonder Woman. And I was gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Because this is the universe I think got Wonder Woman the most wrong. and then the most right.
Yes.
And I think improving on a character might be harder than just doing a character right.
Yes.
The reason that Constantine is number 6 and 5 is because they knew exactly how to write him, and that's why he's so high up. He's in the top 30s, like he's up there. But the reason Wonder Woman's movie is number 3 is because they got her so wrong. And then they slowly rebuilt my girl.
Yeah.
And by the time they fixed her, I think that's harder to do because they didn't negate what they'd already built. They made it somehow so the stuff they messed up, they acknowledged, they owned, they repaired their own problems, and they made her good. And I think that in an age of getting rid of canon, of retconning madness, like in an age of like, oh, that never happened, or an age of like, well, it's broken, there's no solving it. It was beautiful to see a character get the writing that went, hey, we're going to acknowledge that, but we're going to improve upon it. And they did that with Superman, and they did that with Wonder Woman. And I really think this Wonder Woman movie knows how good Wonder Woman is. I think it had a great villain for her. I think it really showed why the character is important, what she represents, who she stands for. Wonder Woman's like Superman. She's aspirational. She's not supposed to be someone you're like, oh yeah, my buddy Jim. Like you need to be like, I love what we could be. I could never reach these heights, but I believe in them. And she's not like, stupid humans, I'm a fight and work for the president, like some iterations. But she's like, I want these people to be as good as they can be. Why can't I do more? And they found it finally. So my number 3 is a bias because I love Wonder Woman, but I really, really think they found my girl. And Bloodlines I loved.
100%, man. I agree. And I think it makes sense because you have all that experience.
My connection.
Yeah, but even I could tell. Watching that movie, even I could tell. I was like, oh yeah, this is cooking in a whole other way, and this feels spiritually correct. So.
Much like Constantine, if they want to know about Constantine, I'd show them City of Demons if they can hang.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, like I would say even maybe over the Wonder Woman first film because of what the third act did. I love the first Wonder Woman movie, but if someone wants to know who Wonder Woman is, I might show them this first.
Sure.
It's that good.
Those are Constantine, City of Demons, and Wonder Woman Bloodlines. 2 of our lesser viewed, but 2 of the best. 2 of the best installments. So give those vids some love.
Get after them.
Although if you're here, chances are you already have, and we appreciate you very. We will leave a like on your existence for that. All right, we're in the top 2.
I think we have the same top 1. I think we do. Let's see.
I don't
Now's
know,
the moment of
Coy.
truth.
This is the moment of truth, and I have a sneaking suspicion that we might be down for one last divert because my number 2 is Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox. And hear me out, Coy. Hear me out. I guess we just do 2 and 1 at the same time.
We must.
See, here's the thing. Flashpoint is fantastic. Like this was one that blew me away. You know, I'd heard so much over time. Flashpoint. It's one of the iconic storylines. It's the multiverse. You know, one of the definitive sort of multiversal shenanigans sagas. And I thought this, what can you say that hasn't been said? It so gracefully and beautifully centers around this conflict for Barry Allen, but also, you know, becomes this whole Justice League encompassing scenario. I love getting onto that alternate timeline and the you know, having this alternate Batman who is like the sort of worst case version of Batman, but who's not beyond saving. And then I'll never forget moments like, I mean, the Martha Wayne Joker is one of the absolute pinnacle moments of like shock, awe, surprise. Like I
so
never
enjoyed
saw that
watching
coming.
that happen. I would be like, he doesn't know.
That might be my like number 1 moment.
Yeah.
Like this is like a hair's worth. Like this was. It's so good. It manages, the Flash and Zoom stuff really well. The conflict of everything with his mom, his, you know, back and forth with Batman. You know, it's like we've seen the Flash 2023 live action movie, which had its charms. But that was one of those movies where I was watching and I'm like, yeah, this is like a version of this story, but it's not necessarily like the version. Whereas I'm watching this and I'm like, I'm 100% locked in.
Yeah.
And this feels like it's a definitive, tumultuous version of this classic story. And yeah, people have said like it's really faithful to the book. And it's one of those movies where even if I haven't read it, I can tell like, yeah, this feels very proportionate, conscientious. It's got good character beats while also balancing all this chaos. Yeah, like I couldn't say enough about it, honestly.
All right, my number 2, because we do diverge. And remember, we'll get Streamlabs next, so get those in if you want us to grab them, because we only got about 40 minutes left. But it was way lower on your list. I don't know if you kept track, but I have not yet talked about Justice League Dark Apokalips War.
That is the truth.
That is my number
Coy.
2, Justice
What do
League
you
Dark
got for us
Apokalips War.
there?
This did something I didn't think was possible.
Oh.
I've always said you cannot do this many characters and this many moving parts in a single movie, much less a 90-minute movie. And it did. This movie accomplished, it ended a franchise. It did it in a way that was like honoring everything that came before it. Its action was so well developed. It was so many moving parts. It was so many storylines clashing into each other, but it didn't feel overstuffed. This movie is like a 4-hour movie in 90 minutes, and at no point does it feel too much.
Yeah.
At no point did I feel like it sacrificed what it had to do with Cyborg, which frankly, like, my God, talking about underserved characters in movies, it didn't sacrifice who Batman was, even though I was like, don't do that to Batman. I'm like, that makes sense. It didn't sacrifice what Superman had to go through. It didn't sacrifice, even when they made Wonder Woman, an element of Darkseid when she came back, it felt like, oh, that's why it had to happen, because you had to have that moment. Every
Dude,
single
Furies,
beat,
man. Oof.
every beat,
Yeah.
the Furies all were like, this has to be what it is, and I love it. There's so many moments in this where you're like, are they going to get out of this? And since it was the end of a franchise, there were like 2 beats where I was like, are they just going to end it really dark? I was like, does Darkseid win? And I never get to feel that because I know the comics and I know that, these live action movies are never going to do that. So it actually had stakes because I was like, yo, what if they do this and Darkseid wins? What if they and that's how good it was to me because it just threw me into a crazy, like, tumultuous moment of like, oh, okay, they're going there. So, like, for me, Justice League, Dark, Apokalips, War is a really long title that deserves its runtime. And yeah, so many characters got justice.
I agree.
Loved it.
Wholeheartedly
Number 2.
agree. Wholeheartedly.
What's your number 1?
My number. See, this
I
is
lost track at some point.
this is ultimately how this list shook out because Flashpoint, I feel like, for all intents and purposes, like, is the answer. So I did this in sort of like I agree, but also my heart, my taste,
Sure.
brings this one movie just a little further past the line.
Justice League Dark?
It is Justice
I did
League
keep track.
Dark. Justice League Dark. Revisiting that like a minute into the video, I was like, this movie's so freaking cool. and the thing is, this is like the perfect balance for me, where it's like you're getting to know this other side of this universe. You're getting into the magical, the mystical, the hellish. And in this world, I really do adore that part of it, that region, because it just feels so transportive, so vivid and distinct. It feels like a wholly other place, but that is absolutely a part of the fabric of this universe. And I thought this movie in particular did a nice job of splitting the difference of being a Constantine movie, essentially, and incorporating the Justice League. But also not, again, getting too awash in like a million different characters. Like, it's busy. It's got a lot of people. But I love that what you ultimately get is a Justice League scenario insofar as you have Batman and a group of people with a bunch of sort of odd and random powers. And then you're sort of watching as, Batman is technically our eye line for, the Justice League. And yet Constantine is really the one leading the show.
Sure.
Deadman, I absolutely love that character, and I love the way he comes back for things with Nightwing in certain installments, and also leave a like for Nightwing because we haven't talked about him much, but like he has been
the MVP
such an
every
MVP
time
throughout this entire series. But yeah, Justice League Dark just has the perfect blend of horror stuff, mysticism, but also the superhero aspects. I love him and Constantine going back and forth about the pea shooter and that coming in handy and all those things. Zatanna, like you said, is really gets a chance to shine. And even the villain, Destiny, I thought, even though he's not like the most fleshed out villain, I thought his presence and his just sort of heavy metal demonic quality and the way you see that in the Etrigan flashback with blood, there's so many facets and details and characters and storylines that are all so rich and have such an aura and combine, I think, in a perfect synthesis what I love about the classic superhero side of these stories and the potential for horror and fantasy in these stories.
Totally agree. I don't like everything you just said. I totally and completely agree with my experience of that film. I totally and I think that's the difference between seeing a new genre shown in animation, which is what I got out of it, versus my comic book love, which is why my number 1 is Flashpoint. Okay, and my real number 1 is Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But that's another video. My number 1 in the DC animated universe, I see you chat, and you're also correct, is Flashpoint, because I think Flashpoint might have hit me harder than the comic. And Flashpoint is one of the hardest hitting comics I've ever experienced.
It goes hard.
So for me, this is the 4.5-star movie on the list, and there's I think 4.5-star films now total in all of the DC animated universe. I've given it to a few other ones, which we're going to rank in the DCAU whenever we get to them, because there's a lot of them. But I've given it to like a certain Frank Miller movie, a certain another. Yeah. So there are ones, but for me, Flashpoint, I think emotionally gripped me a little bit more than the comic, because I really, really hated Yellow Flash. Reverse Flash made me so angry, and I love the portrayal. I really felt for Barry losing his mom.
Yeah.
I really felt that like the Elseworlds were actually the best I've seen them served. It felt like another world. It felt like they really captured the element of like unnerving unreality, and that's hard to do in animation when everything is not our reality. Like everything, because it's animated.
Oh,
so
man.
to serve that medium in a way that made it feel like a different world was so nicely done. The voice performances were great. I think this is the one I'm the most invested in emotionally, and that's why it's so high up. And to be honest, you guys know I had fun with the Flash movie. I really got a lot out of the Flash movie. The Flash movie made me like this even more. And that's not saying the Flash movie's bad. It's saying it made me appreciate what the medium of animation gave me with Flashpoint. It gave me more over here. So Flashpoint was everything, and I got a lot out of it, 4.5 stars. And yeah, it was me, Barry. Like the memes that came out of it, the pop culture moments, it's just so good to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4.5 stars.
It's good to me too. It's my number 2.
I'm just saying,
it's almost number 1.
if there's someone in the chat, inevitably I'm like, remember my opinion. I'm not talking to you, because we've been on the same page. Someone's in the chat's gonna be like, no, Justice League War is better, because that was my last one or whatever.
When I started ranking these, when I started the list, I was like, well, I'll just put Flashpoint at the top, to start, and not in any sort of dejected way. I was just like, yeah, this seems like the right place
and
to
then you're
start.
like, wait, I'm remembering Justice
And
League
then
Dark.
and then I was like, I know JL Dark is going to be high, and then when I rewatched it, I was like,
You almost
this is the
moved Reign
Johnny.
of Superman. I think the only one I might move with mine is Constantine. I think Constantine might be in my top 5. I think I might shift Justice League Dark and Constantine up together,
ooh,
and then I might move whatever my number 4 was. I can't think of the top. Oh, Justice League Teen Titans just down.
to 5.
Yeah, because I really like the Constantine stuff. Really gets me.
It's so great.
But
it's
I
so
also love the Teen
distinct
Titans stuff.
and unique. Yeah, it's no like
The top 6 might all change. That's how good they all are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, very, very, very much my jam. Let's get some more super chats and
Let's
Streamlabs.
do that,
Guys,
old
we did
thing.
16 in an hour and a half. I'm proud of us. I was a little worried about that factor. So I like this 4 and 4 thing. If we do more of these rankings, I like that system. I think grids of 4 are good. But we're gonna get to each and every one of your super chats and Streamlabs. We'll keep that open for another like 10 minutes, and then we're gonna turn that off because we got to wrap this bad boy out. So you got 10 minutes to get your Streamlabs and super chats in. Let's get after them.
Yes, indeedy. All right, let's do Big Chuck 420. Look out. Oh, let me move this box here so you can see your comment there a little bit better. All right, Big Chuck. Oh, hold on. All right, we're going to go with a different one then because that one's not working.
He's dead and I accept the super chat.
Yes, loved rewatching these with y'all. Flashpoint Paradox is my favorite. I rewatch it the most. I love the whole Flashpoint universe in the books as well. How
Perfect
far does
timing.
this expand? Yeah.
There's a lot of Elseworlds that kind of came out of Flashpoint. They've definitely given some of those characters like full-on storylines. Like I'm pretty sure Batman, the Thomas Wayne Batman and Martha's Joker has their own miniseries. Like there's stuff that like goes.
Cool.
So there's places to play. So there's if you like it, there's more to dive into. And thanks, Big Chuck. We're on the same page. And John's got it at number 2, so we all love it.
Oh, hey, somebody. Oh, who said that in the chat? Somebody said Son of Batman. The Glove Official has the best Nightwing suit, Son of Batman.
Oh, I don't disagree. I also like, yeah, we could do an hour on each of these. Like there's so many elements. Like I think the animation in Batman Hush makes it like top tier. There's certain things that like elevate or detract. But yeah, I did dig the Batman Nightwing suit in Son of Batman.
Absolutely. Dan V 900
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
I loved your reactions, but found most of the DCAMU to be mediocre at best, especially in comparison to the DC animated series. Flashpoint, if you're counting it, is number 1 for me, then Death of Soups. Hey, Flashpoint is it's the kickoff. It's the first one, bud. So we're definitely counting that. I mean, fair. I think this has, for me, been more good than not good. I mean, I feel like most of these have given me that feeling of like, well, they managed to do a lot in an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't fully share your sentiment here, but I could see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I personally disagree, clearly. But at the same time, I haven't watched a lot of the DC animated series, or I don't know if that counts the other things we're doing, or is that TV? I don't know what that applies to, but
There are certain aspects of the animated movie universe. No, there are certain animated movies that tie into the DC animated series, like
I see.
Batman and Justice League, the animated series, all that.
Okay, got it.
So those occupy a pocket of the animated
So many pockets.
multiverse.
So many pockets.
But that's got, at least we can agree on a couple good ones here, and I'm glad that you like Death of Superman a lot as well. I feel like that's an iconic storyline, so you know I'm grateful that people are
Resonate.
pleased with that.
Yeah.
My name is Matt. Whoa, 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 whoa.
God, the fourth man. Lies the demon.
Super Chat.
Yes. What Marvel Comics storyline would you want to see made into an animated movie, Coy?
Sinister Six. I feel like the Sinister Six, the closest we'll ever get is No Way Home, and I loved it, but I definitely feel like there's an opportunity to make. I've always wanted to write a Sinister Six that is like the Ocean's 11 movie. I want to make a heist movie where the leads are the villains of the Sinister Six and Spider-Man's the bad guy. I always thought it'd be cool to have like Sandman being like, I just want to take care of my daughter. Rhino's just trying to get the money to get that suit. They're not like good, but they're not like just clearly villains. So I thought it'd be fun to do an underdog villain heist movie with Spider-Man as the antagonist. And I feel like animation's the only way to really do that. I also think a Clone Saga movie would be dope. I also think their Dark Phoenix. I'd love to see some cosmic X-Men stuff. I feel like X-Men really serves animation with the mutant powers. That's just Marvel, but if we're talking all comics, Saga.
Absolute vodka. All right, moving forward, clipping along. Got a couple more minutes. We'll probably close the super chats down in like 5 minutes or so. So keep on keeping on. Appreciate all of you for sticking it out with us on a Sunday morning. Leave that like. If we can get to 666 before the stream is over.
Oh, okay, I like it. That's a
we
good
will,
goal.
we will do something fun and special. We'll do something for your troubles there. Hey, Fear and Loathing in general.
Super Chats.
Not vengeance.
Absolutely. You know what's crazy, Coy?
It's got a lot of A's.
I was talking to Mabel the other day. Y'all know Mabel. So I says to Mabel, wouldn't The Flash have been a better film? Does this continue? This must.
No, I think it's. Oh, there it is.
Oh, it does. It does indeed. If it were heavily budgeted animated film a la Spider-Verse, same story beats but quality animation. Thank God it's free to share ideas, right?
Good old Mabel.
Oh, Mabel.
I hope
We
Mabel
love
received that knowledge well.
Mabel's watching right now.
I feel like Flashpoint did a darn good job of making a quality animated film out of it, but I would also love to see
I would watch
something in the vein of Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I would watch the Flashiverse version.
Oh,
of
in a
that.
heartbeat. That sounds amazing.
I mean, because I think, just the potential of any universe you go to having a different, whole tone, look, aesthetic, vibe, medium it is being realized in is a very fun prospect.
Totally agree.
We'll see how the new TMNT does with that jittery sort of comic book style.
Very
as
hopeful.
Well. Yeah. Dan V900.
He's dead and I accept the super chat.
Yes. All right. Flashpoint Paradox. Thank you for contributing as well. Flashpoint Paradox was the final DC animated film funded by WB Premiere before it shut down. The direct-to-video budgets were then slashed, which is why the films look cheaper post-2013. It is noticeable. Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I feel like... I can kind of see it. It's like a splitting of the difference. I feel like I look back on like stuff like Batman the Animated Series, and I'm like, yeah, that feels like animation, man. And these movies, I think, do have a nice animation style, some more than others. They're not always like, the gorgeousness of the anime. But I think they do nicely to split the difference between a comic book style animation. And this universe in and of itself isn't doing quite as much direct referencing of, aesthetic languages as like Year One was, or Dark Knight Returns, was doing, or even
Long Halloween.
Long Halloween, sure.
That airs next Sunday.
Tomorrow?
Wait,
coming?
today's Sunday.
It's coming. Today is Sunday.
Well, oh, okay, got it.
Mixing it up a little bit.
Got it, because someone was asking in the chat, and I didn't know the answer.
Oh yeah, there's new DCAMU. Keep your eyes peeled. Maybe even as soon as tomorrow.
Maybe even.
Keep your eye out in the morning. But yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like a. I wasn't sitting here going, man, these movies are really going downhill. Yeah, there are certain ones I think throughout though that still managed to flourish despite that budget cut. So for me, I feel like it certainly could be worse.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, it can be noticeable, but if you stylistically work around it, I wasn't often distracted by a weakness in animation. I can acknowledge that Flashpoint was incredible, but I also wouldn't demerit a lot of the other ones because animation is a hell of a tricky medium, and I think they did their job serving the story.
Absolute vodka. Well, all right. Thank you, Dan V. Sean Payton. Hey, Coy and John. Bars. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
He's dead and I accept the super chat.
Yes. Hey, Coy and John. Recovering from an oral surgery, and this has brightened up my day. Oh, well, I'm glad we could be of service. Absolutely. Question for Coy. What character was misused in the DC EU? Or the I'll expand it, or the DCAMU if you have one. And John and Coy, any plans to start the Tomorrowverse? Not 100% sure when and how the Tomorrowverse will factor in, but it's certainly on the table. I feel like there's certainly a chance that it'll come
to pass.
I don't know if it'll exactly become the kind of thing where, for DCAMU, we went linearly, we diverted once in a while. I don't know if it'll be exactly as consistent as that, but I think we will get into some of those films at some point. Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah.
But yes, any characters particularly misused?
Okay. If you consider the DCEU an Elseworld, which I do, they're all great. I think that Zack Snyder just sees the characters differently than I, and that's okay because they're archetypal characters. That's the thing. However, if you see it as the mainstream universe, I don't particularly consider a Superman that kills or a Batman that uses guns to be the characters. So perhaps the 2 out of 3 leads of it would be misused. But that's all in how you perceive the character. So I can't speak to what's misused or used correctly because the way the characters are written is meant to be interpretive, and the way the characters are perceived is going to be different for you than for me. So for me, I love experiencing those movies as an Elseworld. But if it was my universe, Batman wouldn't shoot people and Superman wouldn't break necks. For me.
I feel that. Anybody in the AMU?
The AMU, the only one I felt like I didn't. She was only in like the movies a couple times, but Zatanna, like, there could have been more. When she was in it, she was great, but I definitely feel like there could have been opportunities to incorporate her more. And a total lack of Detective Chimp.
Yeah, I know.
He never appeared.
I was thinking that. I was so looking forward to him.
He's the best.
We were
so
talking about
the
him.
character that's misused is Detective Chimp.
Detective Chimp.
Because he's not in him.
And they faked us out because there were monkeys
there
here
were
and there.
monkeys! And there is no Justice League Dark to me without Detective Chimp, who I love.
Okay, that's why
that's
it wasn't
my
your number
guy.
one.
Yeah.
I see. All right, let's real quick.
That might have changed everything. Flashpoint might not have had a chance in the world without Detective Chimp, but since he never showed up, that's the pocket aces. You put Detective Chimp in something, A+.
All right.
If you use them right.
All right, let's jump back over to the Streamlabs, and in 60 seconds,
60.
I am going to close out the Super Chats for the day. So you got a Mo left if you want to get that last one. And you can still send stickers if you'd like. But yeah, for questions, 60 seconds, we are going to close that down. But let's hop over here and let's hop into the last of the Streamlabs for the day.
Let's get it.
Let's see.
We left off at 12:15, if that helps.
Oh, that is good.
So a little bit
so
up,
we got
a little bit up. There we go.
We got 2 of 2 from Sonny.
I believe so. Yeah, because we talked about the Brightburn joke, the
movies.
Horn Spike. Yeah.
All right. Let's do this thing then. We got Sammy Boy. Let me make sure we can see you. Here we go. Perfect. Sammy Boy. And, I got a phone call.
Why did you send that super chat?
There you go. 2 films I really love. Thank you for joining in as well. 2 films I really love are on top of my list. All-Star Superman and Superman vs. the Elite. Bit biased, but these movies really show why Superman is more than just a boring, overpowered superhero according to many. hope we get that lasso optimism in Legacy.
Yeah, I really, really look forward to those experiences because I think All-Star Superman, the comic, is one of the best Superman stories, period. Superman the Elite, if it's in that same area, I really, really look forward to it. I think Superman can be perceived that way. I don't think when written well he is. I think when written poorly he absolutely can be. But I'm really excited for some optimism and as you describe it, lasso optimism. Yeah, Ted Lasso is... Man, that's the closest Superman I've seen on TV in a while. And that's not to disparage. I just haven't watched Superman and Lois, but it's really good to see that kind of optimism in a show, and I'm excited to see that in Superman again.
Absolutely. Sani, we got one more from you. Appreciate you chiming in. I like the casting of Lantern, Hawkwoman, and Mr. Terrific. I feel they are the 3 really good choices because while they are heroes, I don't have the Superman way. They don't have the Superman sense of being a hero. Guy is a dick. Terrific is too logical, and Hawkwoman can be ruthless. So I am in.
Co-signed. I think that's a big part of why those were the first ones announced. I think that does tie directly into what they're planning to do. I'm with you.
Absolutely. Well, all right. Let's refresh the Streamlabs one more time. Okay.
Oh, did you accept the ramifications?
I need to, yes.
Understand them.
I understand the implications. All right, let's hop back over one more time. Thank you again, guys, for contributing and for keeping just our conversation fires stoked and alight. Yeah, dude, this has been a real good, lovely old time. And here we go. What do we got? Where do you remember where we left?
Let me see.
Dan V.
We did not get to Crisis. We did not get to that one. I think we left off on Share Ideas. Oh, no, we jumped ahead to finish his Share Ideas.
Yeah.
We got My Name is Matt for sure. So scroll up from there. We're above
Play
this for
themselves.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We did the crazy with all the, and then Flashpoint is the final DC. We talked about that.
Recovering from a World Surgery.
We talked about that.
Okay, cool. So
So we are here. I think
perfect.
we're with the
Oldie Jones, Justice League Dark. Oh, wait. Let's get you.
guys. We're 29 likes from getting a nice even 500.
Why did you send that super chat?
Dude, let's get that last few likes. Justice League Dark is so fire, you could do a straight adaptation. I agree, and we were talking in that first video, Guillermo del Toro wanting to do one, and I so wish that he had.
Man, I just dream of it often. I think that his character designs would be so special. Jim Leonard, happy birthday on my birthday. We share a birthday. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. Oh, Rhett Proctor.
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
There you go. Hey guys, what? Oh wait, let's do let's kind of bump up.
Gone the fourth man. Lies the demon. Super chat.
Love Etrigan throughout this.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what do you think about Jensen Ackles playing our DCU Batman? He's on his fourth Robin and the dad of a 12-year-old. Do you think it could work? And Jensen's Batman voice is really good. I would love to see a live-action Jensen Batman portrayal. Yeah, I think he just has the voice. He's got the look. He's got the vibe. I think, the further we get from stuff like Supernatural and The Boys, he certainly helps. I think that's the only issue for me is he has like these very attached bits of exposure. But yeah, I've loved the turns we've heard from him in the animated realm and would be overjoyed to have a Jensen Ackles Batman personally.
All of what he said, plus he knows the fandom, and I love that he is such an interesting element of fandom and that he takes so much time. He really cares. Like every con, he's out there in the front lines and he really takes time with it. He cares about fandom itself, and I think whoever's going to play such an iconic character for fandom should be willing to put themselves. And you don't have to. Like I know plenty of actors who don't want to be, at a con every weekend, and that's their right. Like it's your life. You shouldn't have to do something because you're obliged. But if you're going to join a fandom like this, I love that he also is willing because that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan V900 back in action. You love John John's use in Crisis on Two Earths.
Yeah.
He is a main character in Justice League The New Frontier, which is a fantastic film and feels cinematic. Still my favorite Justice League film. I'm excited
to get to
check that out.
That sounds
Absolutely.
great. That's on the agenda at some point. It's coming.
Two Earths was great. I really enjoyed that one too. That was
Really enjoyed it.
yeah, it's great. Some great
So much goodness in
like
here.
Elseworlds, Flashpoint. Different kind of timeline wonky stories. That was a word salad. there
Yeah,
for
those
you
are all
guys.
true adjectives.
Those were things that are said.
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Michael, thank you so much. Hi, guys. Thoughts on the DCAMU skipping Jason and Tim? I personally don't mind their absence, but I found it odd to completely omit their existence. I don't think these movies suffered for me for not having those characters, especially because we did watch, Under the Red Hood to kick this off. But Jason and Tim, like, I would have been curious to see. I think Tim especially, just because I feel like I don't know that character as well as most of the other Robins now, and I feel like that's the one where Jason is tied to a very specific story, whereas Tim would just be cool for me to see kind of develop
what his different dynamic is.
Yeah.
I know a lot of comic creators, that's their favorite Robin. Like a lot of comic creators, I know Tim is their favorite, so I would love to see a lot more people get exposure to him. That being said, I'd rather not have them in it than have them in it and be underserved. I'd rather have it how it was than like shoehorn them in and then just be like, "Hi, I'm here for a second, I'm Robin," and then leave. So personally, I was okay with it in this instance.
Yeah, I feel you. Dan V 900 back in action. Thank you for holding it down and for being so generous today. Really do appreciate you, and you're here so often. Like it really does mean a lot to have you with us. There we go. I gotta get the names in here.
We are 10 likes away from me yelling excited.
Hush, The Long Halloween, with an incredibly un-Batman-like decision to end it, and Gotham by Gaslight all have a big change and try to be too smart, not great. Interesting.
I like The Long Halloween quite a bit.
I like The Long Halloween too. Or stay tuned. We got reactions to that on the way. I'm curious about Gotham by Gaslight and mostly for these other sort of outside the continuity ones. I've seen like little bits and pieces of response, but I haven't dug too deep, obviously, because I want to preserve the surprise of the experience. But yeah, I mean, I think that's also the hazard of adapting a beloved plot line, especially
Inherently,
with
it's
something
going
like
to
Hush.
be disappointing to some.
Yeah, and Hush, certainly is one where I'm like, I could absolutely see why you don't care for what they did with that,
It's lower on my list for a reason. It's in the middle or lower because of it's gorgeous and I love that story. But yeah, that did bother me overall. It also just slightly shifted. Remember those two swapped because of that. Like, at least it's surprising. But yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Raccoon Shampoo back in action.
Oh, yeah.
Let's scroll down for you. And what?
He's dead and I accept the super chat.
Yes. I saw that you did Long Halloween Part 1. Are you planning to do the Tomorrowverse in release order after that? Not 100% sure. We're probably going to, my guess would be that we're going to be hopping around, kind of going off-road and stuff like that. I think some Tomorrowverse movies certainly would be potential for being a part of that mixture. I just don't know if it'll be as dedicated of a run as this particular continuity. I think it's a smaller continuity, or there are less films to it. But I think there's a strong possibility that they will show up at some point in this journey.
Also, there's 500 of you in here, and if any of you live in Southern California, Comic-Con, Saturday, 1 p.m., come ask us these questions in person.
Absolutely. Come ask us every one of your burning questions about the DC animated world. Jeff Carroll.
Gone before man. Lies the demon.
Super chat.
Hey, you lovelies. With Gunn's initial DC announcement about keeping connectivity between TV, film, gaming, and animation, which actor would you most like to see in both live action and animation? And 2 of 2, is there anyone who's already voiced in animation that you would like back for live action? Not sure the likelihood, but if Wonder Woman is recast, Rosario Dawson is my pick, and she's voiced Wonder Woman for several animations. Very much enjoy her Wonder Woman. That's a great, excellent question, Coy.
I don't think I could love Rosario Dawson more. So if she's cast in something, it could be a librarian, it could be Wonder Woman, it could be a book from the library. And I would be excited because I got a lot of love for that woman as an actress and a person. She's very kind, caring, and geeky. I am very excited about the connectivity. We talked about that a little earlier. Matt Ryan. I think he, of anyone, I would love to see get brought in as Constantine because he's just so good in the animation that we've seen. I'm gonna go Matt Ryan, and if not Matt Ryan, I want to see a brand new John Constantine that's that good, get to do all of it, and like someone with an authentic accent. I want someone like street British. Those are my 2.
Absolutely, that's a good call. I would say maybe Weird Al is the doll maker.
There it is.
That's what I want.
That's your big pull
on the big screen.
He wants it, folks.
Tony Todd Darkseid too. It's a good one. It's a real good one.
Don't disagree.
J.B. Bonifacio. Lovely name there that you got. Let me see here. Hold on a sec.
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Quick sidebar. Have you checked out my adventures with Superman? So good so far. I have not, but I've been hearing people talk about it. Is that anime Superman show?
Not a single frame, but well, I've seen like stills. But yeah, I have not, and I love Jack a lot. So I will, haven't.
James Desiel in the chat says Daniel Kaluuya for Constantine.
Hobie Brown?
That's a thick suggest, but I kind of I'm chewing on it, and my just metal detector of the soul is kind of fun at the top. So
503 likes, we did it. We got over 500.
Hey,
Very excited about
over
it.
500.
Thank you. I just wanted to feel it. I just wanted to feel the 500. Half a K.
All right, Mars 8 Productions.
He's dead and I accept the
Super chat.
Yes, great to see you guys together on a live stream. Thank you very much for being here and for helping to make it what it has been. Some of my favorite reactions on the channel, so same here. Really appreciate that. Since Keanu is aging out, who would be your dream casting for Constantine to lead the magical side of the DC?
Well, what timing?
You. Aside from Matt Ryan,
Aside from
I
Matt
guess?
Ryan, a much younger Jason Statham.
Dan Stevens.
Man, I don't know. Like
I would kind of like Dan Stevens might be too profile now, but I could see him being a good Constantine.
I want someone that like looks like they smell.
Sure.
I want someone that's like super scummy, like would just you walk into a pub and you're like maybe not here. Like I want someone that makes you turn around. I don't know off the top of my head. That's really hard. If Clayne Crawford is British. I love Clayne Crawford.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's hard. Matt Ryan for now.
All right. Hell
That's
yeah.
a great question. I gotta think. I want to honor it with thinking on it more.
Mike
Joseph Quinn looks like he smells nice.
Yeah.
I mean smells bad. I want someone that looks like they smell like the bad side of the underside of a pub table, not someone that you're like, man, I want to hug this guy.
Absolutely.
Joseph Quinn's real huggable.
Huggable guy. Mike Tavares.
Why did you send that super chat?
Yes. Lately, I've been thinking Keegan-Michael Key would be a great Lex Luthor. He looks like the animated Lex. I feel like he has a real serious side to him. I think that would be cool.
Maybe Joseph Gilgun for Constantine.
Joseph Gilgun.
He was in Preacher.
Okay, sure. Oh, interesting. Yeah. He's the demon vampire. He's the vampire.
Yeah. I mean, he might be too old as well, but like, man, his energy is so like you're so captivated by him while also being like, I don't know why I want to talk to you. Like he's just got this ness, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also my
I'm trying to get
Carnage,
a good picture.
but like he's something special.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe him.
All right. Cool. But
Sorry, I was still on it.
But yeah, Keegan-Michael Key, Lex Luthor. I think it would be fun. I think it would have the obstacle would be having to transcend like the Luthor of it all, the anger translator. I feel like Keegan-Michael Key can do intensity, and I'm so used to the comedic aspect of him breaking that intensity with comedy. So it would just be about getting over that hump.
Yeah, I
me.
agree. I could, see it. It's just, it's not my first instinct, but I could definitely see it. I'd have no problem with it. I'd love to see him try it out.
Absolutely. Be an interesting piece. Let's get Jordan Peele as.
I think so many of the best
Lex
comedians
Luthor.
are. I think so many of the best comedians are great dramatic actors because they have to know timing in certain elements. That, like, yeah, I'm in.
And here we go. Shepard Tolerant.
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Absolutely. Koi saw the Twitter stuff. Thank you for joining us here as well. Just know we all love you, and some of us following you aren't those BS folks. Peace and love to all. We love you here.
I appreciate that. Enough people were like, Koi ruined the Real Rejects. That I had to be like, let me go ahead and kick back a little bit. And then the ratio
you,
showed
Koi?
me the ratio showed me how wrong they were. But I've loved this channel forever, so it was an honor to join it. And when I didn't want to ruin it. So when someone says something that specifically F you, I responded with my own blend of F you. And then I went on their pages and they were like, oh, you're just like boring or bad people. So
Aw.
if you're boring or bad, you're kind of like irrelevant to me. And thus, now they are as well.
Boogie.
So thank you. You aren't. You are very relevant, and I love you very much. I appreciate it.
And you know who else is neither boring, bad, nor irrelevant is Frank DX. We love Frank.
Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Can't decide, and thank you for being here. Can't decide which one is my favorite, Flashpoint or Apokalips War. By the way, when are you guys watching Barbie or Oppenheimer? Oppenheimer, I think sometime this week. Barbie, not sure yet. And yeah, I mean, Flashpoint and Apokalips War, those are two very worthy options for your favorite number one. I mean,
That's my number 1 and 2 personally.
yeah. I
So,
mean,
and then I think they're both in your top 5.
yeah.
So yeah, very, very. What was it?
Dark,
6?
the Apokalips might have been 6, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's real close.
Yeah, so incredible experiences. I totally agree. And hopefully within the next month. I mean, Comic-Con's around the corner.
Yeah.
That's my main focus. I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah. Dan V900.
Why did you send that super chat?
Never forget that Constantine is pronounced incorrectly everywhere except the Sandman show. It's supposed to be like wine, not teen. Sorry, Alan Moore. So it's Constantine?
What?
Where's the is it etymology for words? Where's the etymology for this?
Constantine?
Constantine, huh?
I could definitely hear. I mean, that is how it's said in Sandman, but like, I felt like that was just like Sandman has like its own aura. So like, Sandman is inherently more like posh. I never. What?
Yeah.
Bruh?
Hey, Koi, Raccoon Shampoo wants to know, can you recommend any Green Lantern stories? Thank you for contributing.
Recently, if you want to learn about Guy Gardner, there's a really fun turn in Human Target, a book I've recommended to John a few times. There is a good John Stewart story called Green Lantern. Oh, it's like a quilt. It's a story with like a tapestry of different worlds colliding, and he has to help control all of them. You know what? My YouTube page, I've got what to read if you are excited by the James Gunn announcements from like 3 months ago, and Green Lantern is one of them. Because when they announced Green Lantern, I gave some of my favorite Green Lantern stories, so they're in there for sure. That might help. But yeah, recently I've not been vibing with them as much. There's a Green Lantern story with Liam Sharp art that was really intense visually. The story kind of wavered in and out for me. It's Grant Morrison, so it's very heady. I love Grant Morrison, but the story did not always hit. But that's a pretty solid recent run with Hal Jordan. I'm a Kyle Rayner guy, so if you go back to Green Lantern #1 from like 1994, that's the era I really love. He's like everyone's least favorite Lantern, but he's my favorite, so I'm a Kyle Rayner guy. So I'd go 90s Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern #1, and see if that's your thing.
Boogie, go forth. Dan V900, thank you once again for chiming in. JL Dark is great. The only reason the film got made was due to Batman being put onto the team, which the creators discussed for fear of sales. It worked. I think it absolutely worked, and it made for, a really fun dynamic. It made for some good humor with Batman, but it also, is the novelty of seeing him and Constantine co-lead a team of magically inclined, hellish characters. I love it so much.
Totally co-signed. I'm really glad they added him, and it didn't feel shoehorned. I'm glad they did it.
No, yeah. It served Batman and the rest of the actual Justice League in their involvement, as well as just, all the Constantine stuff.
They rewrote well.
Raccoon Shampoo, thank you for your
work.
generosity.
God, the fourth man. Lies the demon.
Super chat.
Just realized that Peacemaker opens with him driving home from the hospital, and Suicide Squad opens with them in the chopper/plane vehicles.
Does James Gunn already know the real secret ingredient?
We've already been treated to it.
It's already
the future
begun,
we've been
right?
hoping for is now.
We're 2 out of 2, which means even if the next one doesn't, we're still on an above average. So just like the DCAMU is above average doing it, we can still hope, because that's a delightful tidbit. Thank you, Raccoon Shampoo. We're going to rewatch those with those eyes.
Most certainly. And Dan V900 back in action as well.
Is this our final?
He's
we're
dead
getting
and I
close.
accept the super
I saw a little flying boy. I was like, is that a sticker?
Yeah, it's a sticker.
Okay.
You have to watch the Wonder Woman 2009 film. Carrie Russell is Wonder Woman. Nathan Fillion is Steve Trevor, and Alfred Molina is Ares. It's the best Wonder Woman film start to finish. The third act and use of Ares, perfection. I didn't know that was
I didn't know that was a thing at all. We will have to watch that.
Definitely.
All right.
Damn.
Good to know. Appreciate that.
I'm going to screenshot that.
There it is. That's a saving it.
No idea.
I love that whole cast.
Good thing. All right. Well, Kiana Chanel, thank you so much for the sticker. I love the little super
chats.
Not vengeance.
I love the little flying guy. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. It's this one.
God, the fourth man. Lies the demon.
Super chat.
Yes. Oh, good. And Peeve, you can skip any videos that I'm in. Don't worry.
What did you do?
I don't know, but
Oh.
it's worth it.
But he's
You'll-
this
you-
close.
You'll find other things.
He's this close.
Thank you for the super
He's warned
sticker.
us.
We love you, Kiana. Thank you for just holding it down, for always being lovely and supportive
Much
here.
appreciated, Kiana.
You are super. This is, I mean, you got the little capable headband. You are super, and that's
Good
that's,
thematic sticker.
Appreciate you very much for being here. Carlos Seals, thank you for the moment of silence. Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Appreciate you being here, for chiming in, and for making us feel loved. It's
Oh, I
very
see more
much
now. My
appreciated.
apologies. There's more questions.
It's all
I just saw a
good.
space.
Carlos Seals, we're getting close though. We're getting down.
God, the fourth man. Lies the demon.
Super chat.
Absolutely. These animated movies have made me love Damian Wayne. I agree. How do you
Yeah.
think he will translate to live action though? Also, Coy, are you going to you are going to love Superman in the Tomorrowverse?
I look forward to loving Superman. I love that character.
Always.
Let's see. Live action, I do think they are going to have lots of source material where the character is more beloved, so I think they're going to do him well. Like, I'm really not worried about Damian Wayne. I know a lot of people didn't love the character, but I really think, especially with John discovering him and learning about him, this is a great testament to like people that don't have a lot of exposure realizing how great the character can be if you do him right. So I'm not worried.
Yeah. No.
And then thank you. I'm excited for Tomorrowverse.
I think it can be tricky. I think there is a Scrappy-Doo hole you can fall
Oh,
into with-
easily
with
if you do it wrong.
Damian. Yeah, I feel like it is tricky in that you got to make him understandably angsty and annoying in the right ways to where those edges can be sanded down and can become charming rather than just always annoying. But I think it's a slippery slope, but I think they can do it with the right casting, and I think James Gunn has a good sense for that side of things, especially. Raccoon Shampoo back in action. Thank you so much for
Why did you send that super chat?
holding it down in the super chats here. Long Halloween is part of the Tomorrowverse, by the way. That's good to know.
We've already begun.
We've already begun then. Keep
Thank
an eye
you.
out this week. Part 1 is coming at you. And I believe finally we have made it. Heather Gear, thank you so much for chiming in. Heather is a dedicated, super sexy reject.
He's dead and I accept the super chat.
And thanks for chiming in here as well. Thanks for joining us on a Sunday. I started watching all these for the first time with you guys, and it's been so fun to journey through with you. Batman versus TMNT was my fave. Much love. Can't say enough about Batman versus Turtles.
Love to hear it. I'm very excited to talk about that
Loved
one on
it so
some
much.
other video. But if you want to see us talk about it on that video, you get in there and you watch that. Also,
Absolutely.
if you guys want to watch us watch these in their entirety like she did, there is absolutely a journey called Patreon where you can watch them from start to finish, which she does with us as well.
That you can, and thank you for making our journey as lovely as it has been so far, because it is largely through your guys just enthusiasm and love that this journey has been what it is.
Yeah.
Vincent Moore, second to last here. Super chats.
Not vengeance.
Hi, John and Corey.
Corey.
I love dude, you've got an alter ego. I love y'all reviews on the DC animated movies. The new ones I like are Green Lantern, Beware of My Power, and Battle of the Super Sons. I haven't even heard those, so I'm very excited. Not
More
bad.
to come.
Hells
Much more
yeah.
to come.
And thank you for appreciating the reviews as well. I feel like a lot of people do
Yeah.
not stick around for that stuff, so that means a lot.
We
Thank you.
Put our heart into them,
These
so thank
are
you.
so fun to discuss and such a treat and a joy to talk about. So yeah, I really, really, really appreciate that you appreciate those as well. Raccoon Shampoo, holding it down all day.
Why did you send that super chat?
Thank you for being here. And yes, goodbye to
A
you as
fitting final
Have a-
written chat.
well. Have a lovely end to your day. And finally, Chris Whamoff to end us off.
He's dead and I accept the super chat. God, the fourth man. Lies the demon.
Super chat.
Absolutely. You are amazing. Sorry. Thank you for the super sticker. I love this little dancing pear guy. I love this that they went with pear guys in general for
Yeah.
this. So,
Big fan of pears. Delicious.
Really appreciate it. And thank you for being a lovely member of our Patreon as well. You have been with us for so long. And it's just been a great joy to have you on our journey. So thanks, buddy. Really appreciate you chiming in here at the end. And our last couple of Streamlabs, thank you all for contributing over there as well. The Gamer MJ, me and Coy have the same top 2, and I heavily respect it.
Cheer.
Also, Coy, do you have any more comic recommendations? I'm just waiting to read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I also have Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe on standby.
Ooh, great pulls.
Quick Rex.
Quick
Quick
Rex.
Rex.
If you want to stay in that world, I would read Deadpool, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's my favorite Deadpool comic of all time. It has Captain America and Wolverine as well, so it's got a little ensemble action. If you want to read more DC, I would check out Human Target, which I recommended earlier. If you want to read something a little more dark and occulty, a la Constantine, but without any continuity issues, check out Department of Truth. If you want to read something really sci-fi and insane, check out Saga in general. If you want to check out something recent and weird, as we get to the next one, I'm going to pull out my recent loved list just to have a new recommendation.
Why did you send that super chat?
And now we're going to get it. What month is it? June? No, it's July.
July now.
When are we? John, go to the next one, and I'll have it ready.
All right, I'm on it. Gamer MJ again. Oh, this is perfect. We can.
Yeah?
I'll actually read this out while you got that. I read
Perfect.
Flashpoint earlier. It was phenomenal and introduced me to characters like Element Woman, Grifter, who I remember you talk about, and the Outsider, among others. And question for you is, will there be a Killing Joke reaction coming? I love that movie. It's possible. I feel like it may show up somewhere in here. You know.
Yeah,
It's,
maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. There's it's always kind of a journey figuring out what the next one to be will be. So I feel like that's on the table. We'll see when it comes up. You'll know.
From the last week of June, so very recently, some faves that are on the shelves right now. I'm loving the new Batman, the Brave and the Bold. Not to be confused with the movie. This is a very dark comic with the Joker as an actually terrifying villain, illustrated by Mitch Gerads, written by Tom King, a favorite duo of mine who did Mr. Miracle or on Batman. Highly recommend. Also, if you want something weird, World Tree is only on issue 3. It's a new indie from Image, and it's like a hyper-sex-charged cyberpunk dystopian, like basically a cyber virus can invade a person and it starts rotting the world away, and it's this really intense book that's like pretty crazy. And final rec over from Boom, Creed has a sequel to the third movie set 10 years in the future where his daughter is boxing, and it's actually so tonally in the vein of Rocky and Michael B. Jordan that it feels like it was written, like it feels like a movie was adapted, not like a comic started it. It is such a good comic book. The art's great, the writing's great, and it's cool to see the Creed story continue. So the Creed has a comic from Boom. It's great.
Beautiful.
And Michael B. Jordan is a part of the process, so he's actually involved, which is cool.
And last but not least,
Why did you send that super chat?
Lone Wolf X, thank you you'll be closing us out today. Appreciate you very much. Off-topic question, and this is a good off-topic question. Have either of you seen The Bear yet? If not, will you be reacting to it later? No plans as of yet for any kind of reactions, although I did do a free little watch-along to the one-shot episode. If you want to check that out from Season 1, I got to start Season 2.
It's exceptional.
And I've heard that, and the first season gripped me so relentlessly and so sort of emotionally. Yeah, I cannot wait to continue and complete it. Yeah.
First season establishes itself as one of the best shows. Best new show. Second season, I think, establishes one of the best shows.
Absolutely.
Hard
Oh, that's good. That's high praise. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Well, guys, I think we have made it. Go check out The Bear. If you haven't seen any of our DC animated movie universe reactions, I hope we didn't spoil them too much for you today. But yeah, thank you all so much for being here, for leaving likes, for joining in on the super chat, for joining in the actual chat. And yeah, just making this DC animated movie universe experience what it has been so far. Before we get out of here, just want to give some love and thanks to all y'all holding it down in the main chat as well. Lexington Luthor, good name. Tita Talariki.
Kiana Chanel.
Kiana.
The OGs. Aisha.
Aisha Kenya, absolutely. Good to see you in here as well.
Angel of Death. Ring King.
Keep going with The Bear. Dalton Maid Smith. Doe Eyes. Angel of Death. Oh, did we get you already? Peeve.
Hudson
Feel free to
Canape.
skip my videos, and I'll stop using that. Why
which
did
joke?
you say that name?
No,
It's not-
never. I
it's
asked for
probably
it.
that.
I asked
it's
for
that
it.
or Justice.
I'm going to start doing it for both of us.
James Deziel, Dan V900, Jason Browning, all you guys. There are too many of you to name, but we really appreciate all of you. Chris Wamoff. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday, and you know, I keep wanting to say something born on a Monday, but either way.
He knows what Sunday leads up to, and it vexes him.
leave a like on the video. If you're bored later on, stream it again and relive all the memories. But for right now, thank you for being here in the here and now. Keep an eye out tomorrow for Long Halloween Part 1.
Next week in Comic-Con.
And yeah,
1
come
p.m.
join us at Comic-Con if you happen to be in San Diego. And yeah, we'll see you next time on another live that's probably about news or movie spoilers.
Why did you stream that stream?
Why did you stream that stream?
Bye, guys.
Absolutely. Be well, guys, and we'll see you next time. Much love. Cheers.